2023. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to go ahead and get started. So first of all, let's start with the roll call. I know Commissioner Armache will not be attending tonight because she has a family activity that she needs to attend, which is perfectly fine, as long as we have at least 3 commissioners in attendance. So we're going to start with the roll call, starting with Ward 1 Commissioner Young.
Present.
Thank you, Commissioner Wheatley, Ward 3. Myself is present. Ward 4 Commissioner Givens.
Givens present.
Thank you. Let's see. At-large Commissioner Yuri sent us a text saying that she is still at work and that she'll be, I guess, arriving late. With that being said, we do have 3 commissioners in attendance, so we're going to go ahead and get started. First on our agenda is the approval of the financials and the minutes. I have some edits. I wish I had caught this sooner. Can we start with February 1st? The budget meeting? Okay, this meeting, when you look at the minutes, it says that Commissioner Armache was absent. But then when you go down to the closed session, it says she was in attendance.
Didn't she come? Did she come late?
I don't
I
remember.
believe that's what it was.
Well, she wasn't absent,
Right.
so that needs to be corrected.
Okay.
Some reason, whenever I pull up this Zoom screen, I can never get to the rest of my documents. Also on February 1st, which was the budget meeting. Let's see. What else did I have a correction on? I think that's it for that one.
Okay.
And then I guess it was the town hall meeting.
One moment.
When you're done, I have a couple of corrections on that one too.
Okay, we may have the same ones. On page 2. And let's see. Halfway down the page where it says Commissioner Givens wanted clarity on if the ordinance was approved. when you-
Commissioner Yuri is in the meeting. I'm sorry, thank you.
Okay, great. So we have 4 commissioners in attendance. We've already started. We're just going over the minutes. So in
All
that,
right, thank
you're welcome. In that paragraph where it starts with Commissioner Givens wanted clarity on the ordinance. In the sentence where it says Attorney Best stated he did not write in the residential districts. He did not write in the residential districts. He left them blank. At the time, his understanding was speed cameras would be on the residential streets, but owned but the town. I think that should be by the town.
Yeah.
And then if you go to the next page, where it says Ms. Richardson discussed resolution 2023-02. Halfway down that paragraph, or kind of in the middle where it says she explained she has a resident, I guess, where it says Commissioner Wheatley. Let's see. Commissioner Wheatley stated that it would be hard for the town to police what they do with the gift card. She explained she has a resident in her ward that does not drive. She has people to drive her places and she could use the gas card to use gas in their car. I think that should say to buy gas.
Gas for there.
For their car, or to put gas in their car, but not to use gas in their car.
Okay.
And then if you go down to resolution 2023-04,
Mm-hmm.
it just says a resolution concerning the Cottage City ARPA funding received for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023. And it doesn't give you any more detail on what that resolution was. Unlike 2023-03, where it explains the food initiative and the gift card program, or 2023-02, where there's a lot of detail of what that program is or that resolution is. Same thing for resolution 2023-08.
What?
Not 808, I meant 07, sorry.
Okay.
It says a resolution concerning the Cottage City ARPA funding received for fiscal year ended June 30th. That doesn't tell us what that resolution is.
Okay.
And then, let's see, do I have any more edits on this one? I didn't get to finish reading this one, so I may have some more edits on that one, but I want to go back to the budget meeting on February 1st. No, not February 1st. Sorry. I guess the town hall meeting. It just says at the top, all commissioners present except for Yuri. That does not tell me who attended this meeting.
Right.
This is Commissioner Yuri. Was I absent from that town hall meeting? I think I was there. I've not been absent from any town hall meeting this year.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if you were absent or present, honestly. Because it doesn't.
I've
it
been
just-
at,
Yeah, it just says, I think that was the February 8th meeting, so I'm not sure if you were there or not.
You can go back and check the recording.
Yeah.
Yeah,
was that
I'll
the
go back.
that was town hall.
Yeah, it was a town hall. Also, in this same minutes, there was something talking about the red speed cameras. And it said, where it starts to say, and this is, I believe, page 2.
2.
Yeah, where it says Commissioner Givens stated it was never discussed any cameras be put up on residential streets. Commissioner Young stated that she was a lawyer. She retired a few years ago. She gave up her law license, and anything she states now is not as a lawyer. Commissioner Wheatley agreed with Commissioner Givens that the commission discussed putting cameras on Bladensburg Road, and that Commissioner Young wanted to include 38th Avenue. That is not what I said. What I said was I agreed with Commissioner Givens, and the locations were always on Bladensburg Road, and that we never discussed putting them on residential roads. That is what I stated. We never, ever discussed placing speed cameras on residential streets within the town limits. That was never on the table. It was never an option. And I need that to be reflected in the minutes because that is what I stated. And I did state that at one point, Commissioner Young did discuss having speed cameras on 38th Avenue, but based on the speed study done by the contractor at that time, it wasn't feasible.
At that
Got it.
time, it was not feasible, but there's a possibility that the speed limit will be changed and it may become feasible at that time.
Right, but
That may not have all been said, but that's the situation.
yeah, that's the current situation. But I just want to go on the record I want the record to reflect what I actually said, and this is not it.
Give me 1 moment. All right, I got that.
Let's see.
Are
Oh,
you done?
No, I'm not. Going down to resolution 2023-07. That first sentence,
Right,
it says, this resolution will reflect the Department of Housing and Community Development grant that the town received an amount of $185,000. Then it says miss. And then it says we received. I don't know who miss is or what was intended to be said there, but I think
probably, yeah, it should have been Miss Richardson stated.
maybe so, but that needs to be corrected. Let's see. I may have some more edits, but you can go to the next person.
Okay.
Okay. If you go back up to the first page
Okay,
of the town meeting. Well, let's see. Yeah, the bottom of that page, middle of the second line from the bottom. Commissioner Young stated that her main concern, excuse me, starting on the last line, it should say, at the earlier discussion, her main concern at the earlier discussion had been, take out the word was, so that it says, Commissioner Young stated that her main concern at the earlier discussion had been getting a speed camera on 38th Avenue. And then at the top of the next
whoa, hold
page,
on, because I want.
oh.
Commissioner Young stated that her main concern, say that once more.
Take out the word was and put in had been, at the earlier discussion had been.
Okay,
And then at the top of the next page, and instead of saying she did not pay attention, say, and she had not paid attention, so that it's clear that I was talking about my earlier concern, not my concern at that time.
okay, I got it.
She had not paid attention. And that's all.
It's page 2.
Well, actually, the next paragraph, it starts with go with legal opinions. I'm not sure. Never mind. Just, you can leave that as it is.
Oh, I see that.
I'm not sure I said it. I'm not sure, you could just
Right.
leave it out if you want.
No, I'll listen to it, see what it says.
Okay. Just start with she wishes that the town had been able. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Commissioner Young, did you have any other edits?
No, thanks. That was it.
Okay, did anyone else have edits? Did anyone have any questions or comments in regards to the financials? Okay. All right, hearing no comments or questions on the financials. Is there a motion to approve the minutes for February 1st, February 8th, and the February 15th special meeting, and the February financial report?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Givens second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Givens, aye.
Young, I.
I'm sorry. I should have said, is there a motion to approve the minutes with the edits that were requested? I'm sorry, I didn't say that.
So moved.
Thanks. Commissioner Givens, you want a second again?
Givens second.
All right, now call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye. Wheatley,
Givens,
aye.
aye. Givens, aye.
Young, I.
Commissioner Yuri,
Yuri, aye. Thank you.
motion passes. There are no nays or abstentions. Commissioner Armache is absent. All right, moving down the agenda. Next, we have public comments. Are there any public comments at this time? Okay, hearing none, we'll go on. I do want to make a comment in regards to yesterday's budget meeting. On general administration, I forgot to bring up the Juneteenth social event. And I know we discussed it because it's in the minutes, and I know that the majority of the commission agreed to do some sort of event acknowledgement of Juneteenth. So since we have Todd here, I just want to make sure that that special event gets added to the budget. Any objections? And we need to agree on an amount.
You could go back and when you go to do the review of the budget, you can add it in and think about whatever amounts at that time. Like,
Okay, Todd, did you catch that?
Yep.
All right, great, thank you. Did you have any questions for us tonight?
Nope, don't think so.
Okay, good. Let's see, what's next? Old business Crown Castle permit.
Yes. One moment.
When you talk about that one, could you refresh our memory just a little bit on what Crown Castle is and does?
Absolutely. So they had contacted us to submitted a permit to attach fiber optic cable to existing Pepco and Verizon utility poles near the intersection of 40th Place and Bladensburg Road and going along to 40th Place and Bunker Hill. So they will be installing on Pepco poles. Initially, I had the impression that they wanted to put small cells that, transmit for cell phones. It is not for that. So it is only to put the fiber optic, basically the wires necessary for that. The explanation given by the company is, given our close proximity to DC, they are putting, quote unquote, their infrastructure in place to be able to handle that traffic and volume used for cell service for nearby DC. And I do have a picture of it so you can see what it looks like. Bear with me. It's basically just gonna look like wires on the pole.
So this isn't the cell towers, right?
No, it is not for a cell tower. It is not.
Is it for any one company of cell phones or all cell phones or what?
No, it depends on who they have a contract with, so it's not one company. So this is the how it will look on the poles.
Huh.
So it's wires.
And so I guess they already have an agreement with Pepco.
Yes, they've gotten the appropriate permissions from Pepco. They've gotten the appropriate permissions from Prince George's County. Me and Mr. Best have had some meetings with them and requested clarification and additional documentation just to make sure that everything was in order. So they have done their due diligence and everything is in place.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Sure.
I know Mr. Best had met with you and the company in regards to this.
Mhm.
And he's reviewed the document and everything, but I don't see Mr. Best on this meeting call.
Don't know why. I will text him.
Yeah, I don't see his name listed
Okay.
as a participant. So you're presenting this tonight for our awareness, our approval?
Yes, well, it's for your awareness. So they have met all the requirements for a permit. But I thought it was important, given the significance of it, and we had discussions before, that you all were aware of it and how it had progressed and culminated, so.
Mhm.
It's a vote is not necessary. It's just more of information, updating you.
Okay, next on the agenda is the town hall renovations.
Yes. So I've gotten various quotes for cabinets. If you see on the screen, that's your configuration. I got all the measurements and everything. Commissioner Givens did that. Let me see, I need to stop share for a minute. What did I do?
That's the configuration currently?
No, that's just, they put it in their format. They couldn't put it the way we have it actually in our kitchen. But the number of cabinets is the same as what we're gonna have. Like the one on the right would be that first wall on the right when we come in. And then the one on the left would be that left wall. But I'm just trying to show you the number of cabinets.
Okay.
So,
Okay,
and they-
so wait a minute. So if the ones on the
What about
left,
the dishwasher?
wait a minute, hold on, please, Commissioner Young. So the one on the left, the cabinets on the left, those are the number of cabinets that we're gonna get for that side of the wall. But right now, there's two, no, not two. There's the refrigerator on that side, and there's the ice maker on that side. So are those gonna be moved to another location?
Yes, the refrigerator is getting moved to the location where the ice maker is. at this time. Then the ice maker will be moved to where the dishwasher is.
Okay, okay. I can see that. And where did you say the refrigerator is gonna go?
The refrigerator will be moved to where the ice maker is.
So
So
then it
you-
won't be the same configuration that's in front of us, because there'll be a refrigerator there somewhere.
Right, they couldn't put all the components in there. This is just for the purposes of showing the cabinets and the numbers and all of that. So
And how many cabinets are on that side of the wall? Is it
there are five, there are 5 components.
Okay,
Okay. Right. Bear with me. I did a summary document. I hope it's here. Hold on.
Commissioner Young, did you want to ask a question about the dishwasher?
No, no. No, I remembered something else being there, but no.
No, okay.
And before we go any further, can we please be respectful? And if someone is speaking, can we please hold our question or comment until that person is finished? I mean, I know that we're all excited about what's going on in this meeting tonight, but let's be respectful of everyone, and also remember that we're being recorded and it's being transcribed. So when we're talking over each other, sometimes the message isn't clear for the transcriber. So please be respectful. Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Richardson.
May I speak? May I speak?
Yes,
I was not being disrespectful. I said something in between 2 things that were said by you and Carol, and I didn't think that I had upset any apple carts that way, and I certainly didn't mean any disrespect. So let's just try to be cool. Thanks.
I'm not saying that you were being disrespectful. I'm just asking the audience to be respectful of everyone speaking. That's all. I was just making a statement. It wasn't to point a finger at you or anyone. I was just making a statement.
So I got a quote, and in each one, I got a quote for the same amount of cabinets, okay? So the quote I got from Lowe's was $6,726.76. And let me just back up for a moment. These are all wood cabinets, okay? So I was trying to compare apples to apples. And that amount was $6,726.76. Then I also got a quote from cabinets.com. Their total was $6,545.83. And then I got a quote from Castle here. Their quote was $4,687.31.
Ms. Richardson,
Yes.
when we spoke earlier today, I thought you said Castle, the other 2 companies were cheaper than Castle. So now you're saying Castle is the cheapest?
Yeah, because I realized when I was looking at it, when I had gone to Castle before, I had picked one of the special order cabinets. So the amount was actually higher, and that was a mistake. So I actually went back and looked at it again. And I said, just, give me the comparable wood cabinets, but not the special order. So that's what happened. So I actually went back to clarify that. So that's what happened.
Okay, and what color are the cabinets?
Well, they come in various colors. From the colors are gray or white, of the ones that have been chosen. Now, of the Castle ones, now the Lowe's ones, they do have one that has a stain, a dark stain. But that is more expensive.
So what's your recommendation?
I would recommend we go with the Castle. I think they're good cabinets. They're all three quotes are for wood cabinets. I think, you know, either the white or the gray, they're neutral, and then we can build upon that, the other components around that.
You're recommending going with Castle and you're not recommending a color right now, just a company, a manufacturer. Okay. I'm fine with going with Castle. Does anyone agree or disagree?
I'm fine with Castle as well.
Commissioners Yuri and Young?
I don't really have any opinion on this. It's not a real high priority item for me.
I think it's fine with me, what you guys decide.
You're saying that it's fine to go with Castle?
Yeah, I think Castle is fine.
And Commissioner Young, you're saying you don't have an opinion?
Right.
Okay, Ms. Richardson, that's 2 for Castle. Commissioner Yuri, I guess you're saying you'll go with Castle, and Commissioner Young has no opinion.
Okay. Okay.
So what's your opinion?
I said Castle first.
Oh, you said, because you said 2. That's why I asked it. Okay,
I was counting me and you as 2, sorry. I
Oh,
didn't
oh.
say your name.
Oh.
Well, it's actually 3 when Danielle said that she that was fine with her, so.
Okay. All right, so it's Castle.
Mhm.
Now, of course, you know, we will have to, you know, buy the drawer pulls and things like that. So it's not just the cost of the cabinet. So just be aware of that.
Oh, this is just for the cabinet. This doesn't include the hardware, like the knobs?
No,
and
it does
screws and
not.
stuff?
Because-
None of them do.
Yeah. And I didn't want to include it because, you know, you get what the maker makes and it's just more expensive. You just buy your own. It's much cheaper.
And they're gonna install the cabinets as well?
No, this is just for the cost of the cabinet.
So there's a separate charge for installation?
No,
Correct.
we're going to install it. It's super simple. It's a day's work at most, and remove them is a couple of hours, and put them back is a couple of hours. It's really not complicated. You just have to organize. The only real thing that you really have to kind of work with is organize the countertops so that you don't have them bare for any extended period of time. You know what I'm saying? So because employees are going to come in and still need to utilize the kitchen at some function, at some point.
Okay, so when you say we, you mean you in Public Works?
Yeah, I only need one other person. I could use like Mike from Public Works. He and so it's very simple to do.
Okay, so you'll be working that out with the staff?
Yeah, once they identify the countertops and what's decided on the countertops.
Okay. All right, sounds fine to me. Okay. So next up is new business. So unless there's some more questions, does anyone want to ask any questions about the cabinets?
I have a question.
I'm,
If,
Mr. Kopacki, right now I'm speaking to the commissioners, please.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. This question is for the commissioners. Do any of the commissioners have any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. Kopecki, would you like to ask a question?
Yes, I was wondering if you put a refrigerator where the ice machine is, if that would interfere with the flow of traffic in the back door. Thank you.
Commissioner Givens or Mr. Pinckney, you want to answer that question?
So the refrigerator is already there. You'd be moving the freezer over to that location. So I can't remember which way the door swings on it, but we can factor that in and take a look at it. Thank you for bringing that up.
My understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, the island is going to go away, right?
Correct.
So I don't think it would impede, but I'm not a carpenter or contractor, so I can't speak to it.
And doesn't the door open out?
Yeah, that's true. It does open out.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Kopecki, did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, getting back to the agenda, new business, American Landscaping proposal. Will that be Mr. Pinckney?
I will both comment on it. I'll let Greg jump in as well. I just want to point out there have been some increases. For example, the price per each mowing is $361. Last year was $355, and I did provide last year's contract just as a point of reference. And option number 2 was $120. It was $118 last year. Applying fertilizer to lawn, it's $105. Last year was $103. So I just wanted to point out the differences in the price. So this one is $18.76, and last year it was, I just lost it. No, $18.76. I don't have that, but there have been increases of the total for last year.
Is it a significant increase or a small increase?
Small, like the 361, it was from 355 to 361, from 118 to 120, from 103 to 105. So it's not significant.
I'm fine if it's not a big increase. I know with inflation and cost of living, everything is going up, so as long as they're not gouging us on the prices, I'm fine with it. Do any of the other commissioners have any questions or comments?
Given some fine with it.
Yuri, Young,
I'm fine with it.
It's fine with me as well.
yeah, we're all in agreement that the increase is fine, so
Okay. All right.
I don't think it's any problem.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Commissioner Wiggins,
Yes,
just for FYI, the increase is just a 1.5% increase. And this is a 2-year maintenance contract that locks you in with this same price, so it won't go up next year.
okay,
Good point.
that's good to know.
Mhm.
Thank you. Let's see. Next is the copier proposals.
Yes. So I've gotten different quotes from different copier makers. I went with like the top 3 just because of reliability. And this is just kind of summary of the documents that I provided. And what I did was just to give you as a refresher, our current copier is 10 years old and is being discontinued in addition, our contract is due to be up. So one of the questions was asked of me, if we wanted to purchase our current copier, it would be $2,090.48. I believe Commissioner Young had asked that, but note, it has been discontinued. So at a point in terms of repair, you know, options may be limited. So I got different examples for the leasing versus purchasing. So I'll start with the purchasing. And what I did on the screen, you'll see the yellow highlighted. That is the cheapest for each area that I broke it down. So the purchase price for Canon, as you can see, was $2,990. Xerox was in the middle, and Ricoh was $10,987. And the Ricoh is what we have now. And the monthly service cost, that means the maintenance, the toner, and all of that for Canon was the lowest at $138.25. Now I'm going to get into the weeds a little bit. You look at the cost per page for black and white. It was a little bit less for Xerox as well as for color, but you know, you factor in the overall lower purchase price, and it may be a wash, and the lower monthly service cost. So it may end up being a wash or about the same. And all of these have the same specs as what we had now. I did consult with the staff just in terms of utilizing it, because that seems to me have been what we have now seems to have been serving our needs. I didn't think it was necessary to go to a higher caliber machine. So that was the comparison for each of the machines. And I did attach all of the information and specs for you all.
And what's your recommendation?
I recommend the Canon.
And your reasons?
Canon is a good line, and based upon my research, the purchase price is lower, the monthly service cost is lower as well. So I think overall we're saving money.
You're recommending that we purchase, not lease.
Yes, I recommend we purchase.
And currently we are leasing.
Correct.
And how much does it cost us to lease the Ricoh?
The current one,
Yes,
we're paying $344.
a month.
Mm-hmm.
How much is that for the year?
$4,128.
So it's cheaper to go with Canon
Mm-hmm.
versus what we're currently doing.
Yeah.
And the Canon that you're recommending can do in basically everything that the current copier can do.
Correct.
Has the same features and functions.
Correct.
And you've discussed it with the staff, and how do they feel about going to Canon?
Well, we didn't talk about, I more so discussed features with them in terms of what they thought we needed, as opposed to the product, because I was comparing across the lines, I was comparing the same specifications. So I was asking staff in terms of utilizing it, like, how has this been for you? Or is there anything you think we need? So my questions went along those lines.
And their response went along with going with the Canon?
It went along with, as long as you get us what we have, that we're not doing a step down. That was the thing. So, because this machine has served us, you know, like Brittany said, this machine has served us well. So the specs are good. So They were okay with it. Like I said, I didn't get into the brands. I got into the specs and the usage of it.
Okay, well, it looks like the Canon is cheaper either way, even if we were to stay with the current copier and continue to lease it. It's not, it's being discontinued, so it's gonna be hard to get it serviced. So I'm fine with going with the other brand. How do the commissioner or the commission feel? Do they agree with the town manager's recommendation?
Givens, I agree.
If I may speak,
Yes,
I tend to agree. My only question would be, do you know the service records of Canon versus Xerox, and also the service cost that covers anything that comes up? I guess we would pay for parts, but they would do all the work. Is that basically the situation?
No, we wouldn't pay for the parts. The service cost, this monthly service would include that.
Oh, it includes parts.
Mm-hmm.
And has Canon got, if you know, does Canon have a good record compared to Xerox? in
Well,
terms of
it depends on where
reliability?
you look. I looked at that, so these are the top three from what I've looked at, and I looked at different sources. So take that with a grain of salt. But it's either been Canon or Ricoh as one or two. Xerox has always been the third one.
Oh, okay. Well, then it sounds like Canon's the best. So I agree with you.
Sorry, Commissioner Yuri, do you agree? Or disagree?
Yes, that's fine. Mhm.
So all 4 commissioners agree to go with Canon.
Okay.
All right, let's go to the next item. So next we have the town manager's report. Facade improvements.
Yes, so we had talked about having a facade improvement program. And I had described to you all, we wanted a residential component and a business component that would entail giving money to residences and businesses to improve their facade. That's the kind of the traditional format of a facade improvement program. Commissioner Givens recommended looking at Mount Rainier because on, I think, is it Rhode Island? They had done some facade improvements for multiple businesses. Okay. So I did meet with them, and they took a different approach to facade improvement. What they did was they improved 18 storefronts with $300,000. So instead of like each individual business getting a money, what they did was they approached the businesses, they reached out to them, they did a survey and said, do you want, to participate in this program? They did an RFP for a contractor or a construction company to work with them in a way so that for the improvements, there was kind of a unified look or a consistent look when they did the improvements, as opposed to every person doing their own thing, if that makes sense. So that was their approach. And when I was speaking with the director of economic development from Mount Rainier, that he did say that the particular contractors that they got, they were fortunate because they even, reached out to the businesses and everything. So in a way, I think this is good because then you're not managing, staff-wise, multiple different projects. It's more like one big project. And so that was their approach. I don't know if you all have any questions. And this was for the business district.
I have a question. So did they get the agreement of all the businesses, and in the actual doing of it, did they have any problems with any of the individual businesses? If you
I
know.
did, well, they didn't have problems with the businesses. One thing, I guess with any construction project, you start on something and you may be painting and you realize the wall is rotted and you got to repaste the wall. So they did have some instances like
Mhm.
that where it was more than just a facade improvement. It was some repair involved. So,
Hmm.
those kinds of things did happen. So, but it didn't seem to be a significant thing, but I guess that's to be expected when you're doing something like this.
Did they have contracts with the each of the separate businesses, or how did they? I,
They,
I
well,
don't, you may not know, but I mean,
I don't think they had contracts. What it was, they did have some documentation saying that they will be participating in this program and that such and such company will be doing it. And, just to make sure that the town is covered, legally. So,
right, right. That's what I was thinking about.
yeah.
Thanks.
Oh, and they did partner with the Neighborhood Design Center to come up kind of with the look or the design of it. And we partnered with them on the park.
Do any other commissioners have any questions or comments?
Givens. I think it's a good idea. I mean, ideally, what we'd like to do is make improvements along all of them and have them have some type of uniformity to it. So I'm definitely open to it, and I hope they participate. Thank you.
Well, one thing they did say is that they started doing it, and some businesses were like, "Oh, you all aren't going to do anything. You all have said that for years." But when they did it, they had businesses clamoring to be part of it. So I think once you do it, it encourages more participation.
I have an idea, and I don't know how others like the look, but I don't know if you've seen over in Tacoma Park, and they'll have a house. I mean, because all of those houses need to be painted in some form or fashion, other than the ones that have just gotten painted. But they have like a 3-stage color scenario with them, and it really looks nice. So I mean, that may be something as an option as to maybe present that to them as one of the options that everyone may want to go to. So, but we can talk more about it offline. Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
That sounds nice. Could I ask another question? I'm sorry, excuse me. Would this cover basically the area between, well, I guess the bridge or this side of the big business down there where we had the thing last summer, up to up through 37th, but not include the part past there? Is that what we're talking about here?
Yeah, generally, if that's the will of the commission, if that's what they want to, the area they want to focus on.
Okay, well, that's what I thought. I just wanted to
Okay.
be clear on. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, note that they got more ARPA money, so their amount was $300,000. So,
I think that's a legitimate. I mean, you're talking about a number of businesses, and I could support 300,000 for all of them to get done. And I'm not even sure if we can get it done with that, but it's something to start. It's a start.
okay. Because you all had recommended 150.
Yeah, I was gonna say 300,000, that's a big chunk of our ARPA money. And we still have to do some stormwater management stuff.
Well, if you do, I mean, I'm fine with going lower, and just, just note that you have to be realistic in what it is that you're looking to do. I think if you're looking to do stuff like painting and perhaps maybe if we can even get pavers done, to all of the
Yeah.
through the other paver program, maybe we can combine. But it's something to think about. I definitely think that the painting is it's definitely a need. It'll give it a dramatic improvement if you start doing them all at the same time. So I think that may be a good start, though. Maybe start at 150 and relook at it, revisit it if it needs more. So thank you.
That sounds like a good idea.
I am
But
comfortable.
I'd also go with the 100 and however much it was, rather than the 300.
I was gonna say I'm comfortable with 100 to 150. I don't think I would be comfortable going any higher. Commissioner Yuri, any opinion?
I agree with the amount you just said. I think it was 100, 150.
Yes.
That's fine with me.
Okay, so Ms. Richardson, you'll be presenting some more ideas to us at a later time.
Yeah, let me develop it and then I'll present it, and we got to do an RFP and there are different pieces. So
Okay, sounds good. All right, let's see, what's next?
oh,
Small business program and a family program.
yeah, so just wanted to give an update on the totals and what's been spent. So FY 2021 to 22, it was only 11,172.71, but the program I think did it start in, because I wasn't here, in February of last year. So, and then you can see for 2022 to 23, approximately $17,489.98. Now, that being said, you all recently agreed, because initially everyone could only get, one gift card per household. Now you all agreed that each household could get 2. So those numbers will change going forward. I think they will increase. But just as a comparison. And for the ARPA Small Business Relief, the last fiscal year, there were no participants. And then for this fiscal year thus far, we've only spent $1,918.43. And I think that was from one business owner. Are there any questions?
So what you have in front of us is what has been spent so far,
Yes.
and how much is remaining in those accounts or those budget line items?
Well, for the ARPA Small Business Relief, it was 25,000 that was budgeted for it. And then the ARPA Family Relief, I'm drawing a blank, had it in my head. One moment. It was 20,000.
So for 22, 23, we've used 17,489.98 of the 20.
Correct.
So it's not that much left in that one.
Correct.
So we may go through all of that by the time we get to the end of the budget year. Okay. So this is again for our awareness.
Yeah, just as an update. Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Any questions from the commissioners? Any comments?
Okay.
Hearing none, we'll move to the next item, elected officials' salaries.
So today, this is information obtained today from different municipalities. We called others, but the ones you see blank, we didn't get responses from. So as you can see, some give money monthly, some give it annually. But this kind of gives you a perspective of what council members or commissioners are getting. And we got the information for the mayor as well, just because we were getting information, might as well ask as a matter of context.
Did any of them indicate if they were doing an increase?
No, we didn't ask that question. Now, I do know Upper Marlboro, that's an increase that they did a couple of years ago. And they were previously at, what I called them.
I know you don't have North Brentwood down here, but I know for a fact that they did budget an increase for the council and the mayor position.
Yeah,
So-
up on Marlboro, they increased theirs in 2019. Prior to that, it was 1,200 annually. So what that comes to.
Well, I think we had asked to find out if they were putting an increase in their budget this year.
I don't recall. I can certainly follow up. I thought I was getting the salaries or the compensation.
Yeah, but we discussed them, some of them are doing increases this year because because of all the work we've been doing post-pandemic and during the pandemic. So, and then I think the only one that is comparable to our size is probably Comar Manor. And so North Brentwood, what you have up there now is what they're currently doing, but they have done an increase for per their budget, because I talked to their mayor. So that's not current. That's current what they're doing now, but
Right.
that's not what they budgeted for the upcoming
Mhm.
fiscal year. I
This
know
is
that.
Commissioner Yuri. I'm sorry. Can you give some of the amounts, because I'm on my phone and I can't, really chime in to see what's.
Oh, you can't see her. Okay, so you can't see her
Yeah.
screen. Okay,
Mm-mm.
so Comar Manor, the council or / commissioners receive 6,000 annually. The mayor receives 10,000 annually. Edmondson Council receives 200 per month plus $150 for a cell phone allowance. The mayor receives 300 per month plus a $250 cell phone allowance. North Brentwood receives currently $375 and the mayor is $700, which I know that's been increased. I know they voted to do an increase. Forest Heights Council 500 monthly, mayor 1,000 monthly. Riverdale 500 per month, 1,000 for the mayor position. Upper Marlboro 3,500 annually for council, 15,000 annually for the mayor.
What was that last city? You said
Upper
that was
Marlboro,
what, Capitol Heights?
Upper
Upper
Marlboro.
Marlboro. Okay. Thank you.
It'd be interesting to know which ones are doing an increase. I really would like to know that. And how much the increase is.
It looks like there's a sort of a standard of about 500 per month for 3 of the towns, Forest Heights, Riverdales, and Comar Manor. And I guess the mayors are not all the same, but that seems to sort of set us somewhat of a standard.
And it also seems that the mayor position does receive a slight higher stipend.
Yeah,
Right, and I think that's appropriate for us to have the chair get a higher amount, given that you do spend more time on signing things and being available and so forth.
Yeah, that position does, the position does call for a little more involvement. Really, it really does call for a lot of your time. Whoever sits in that position. Okay, so you're bringing this for our awareness and for information for us to,
yes,
because we have to come up with a number for Todd for the upcoming budget.
right.
And I know the next budget meeting, I believe, is March 22nd, right? Is that the
Yes.
one? So maybe if you can get the additional information and we can discuss it then.
One moment. Are any increases planned or have been budgeted for?
Yes.
Okay.
And how much
Yeah,
would the increase be if they plan to put it in their budget?
okay,
Because some of these, I'm thinking this has been probably for the last couple of years. They probably haven't done any increases recently either. The only one that I know did something recently was Comar Manor. And I think that was a $1,000 increase from what I remember. It went from 9,000 to 10,000 for the mayor, and I cannot remember what they increased the council members to. All right. Let's see. So that was more information for us to think about. Next up, Commissioners, Yuri or Givens or Young, did you have any questions in regards to the salaries?
No,
No, I
thank
think a lot in the meeting yesterday, so we just have to determine an amount now.
Okay, thanks. Let's move to Public Works. Your report, Mr. Pinckney.
Okay, hopefully y'all can hear me. My internet service is acting up for some reason today.
We can hear you.
Okay. One of the things I just caught looking at the report is on after development, develop and cleaning sheet for town hall. That needs to come out. And then it says pick up A. The whiteboard actually for some reason fell into the next column. Just so they won't get confusing to you guys when y'all read it.
I have a question.
Mhm.
The whiteboard, is that the whiteboard that was donated to us from Comar Manor? Or is that a different?
Right, it should say pick up whiteboard from Comar Manor,
Yeah, it does.
Oh, okay. Okay, so
but
you,
it, for some reason, it dropped in the next column, so right now it reads, worked on SOP for DPW whiteboard from Comar Manor.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, from the top, from the previous sentence.
oh, so that should say picked up whiteboard from Comar Manor.
Right.
Gotcha. I was wondering if you guys had picked it up. Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to make that clear so you guys wouldn't be confused reading it. I did want to highlight a few things. Commissioner Givens finished the police shed today. So we can start moving stuff back over there. I believe Commissioner Wheatley came down and seen it, and I think town manager came. Yeah, she went upstairs and looked at it as well. So any commissioners that want to come down and check it out, just come on by and look at it. It's sturdy, it's nice, spacious upstairs, safe. So it's good to go now for police to be able to put stuff back in there and put it together. The mini split has been installed. The electrical has been installed. The only thing that's left, and Commissioner Givens is working on trying to schedule, is a putting the recharging the system, because we had a leak when we put it up, but something wasn't tight enough, and we wound up having a leak, so it needs to be recharged. It has stuff in it, but it's not enough for it to run properly. So we don't want to run it until it get recharged. So he's working on trying to get schedule a time to get that recharged, and then the mini split will be complete altogether. The electrical and everything works. We just, of course, we can't turn it on right now until after we get it recharged. Again, the electrical has been done in Public Works, so now I have a few outlets inside of the office so that I don't have to go through one outlet and blow any circuits or anything. So that's been done. Still waiting on the 2 proposals for the electrical for the parking lot lights. Apparently the lights that were selected are not available. So now they have to get new lights for those proposals. So I'm just waiting on those to come back. So at the next meeting, we should be able to select those light poles, or we can put it in the budget for the upcoming fiscal year. I think it's more so of a emergency. So I'm believing that the commission wants to get it done in this budget year. Pepco lighting, there's been emails that's going back and forth. We're still waiting on a date for the Pepco pole installation. The invoices and things have been paid, but we're just waiting on them to give us a date of installation so that we can let the residents know when the installation is going to happen, and what's going to be blocked off and for how long. We can put that information out. The tot lot installation begins on next week, Monday the 13th, and should be completed by the 23rd, weather permitted. So good to go with that. They're moving forward. The items were shipped, and they have received it because they didn't change the date. So we're still scheduled to have our installation start on the 13th.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
So I know it was discussed before. What's going on with the fence around the tot lot?
So the last time we talked about the fencing around the tot lot, I believe Commissioner Yuri and Commissioner Armache were supposed to get together and collaborate on what type of fence would be feasible down there. We do not have fencing in the budget. I look back at the last couple budgets and we seem to have never really put fencing in the budget. We always had just a $10,000 placeholder for the tot lot period. Because we didn't know how much the fencing was gonna cost or whatever at that time. But since then, we only put in the amount for the top lot installation, which is $91,383.57. I did reach out to get pricing, updated pricing on wooden fence, the wooden picket fence, as well as a black chain link fence. I would have presented those today, but I don't have 3. I only have 2 currently. I'm waiting on, I reached out to 5 companies who are supposed to be sending me proposals, and 3 of them haven't come in yet. So I'm still waiting on a 3rd proposal before I can actually share it with the commission. I do have the proposal that Hercules Fencing gave us previous, which their prices was outrageous. But he did tell me I can use those prices and add 10 to 15% onto those prices, and that'll give me a ballpark of what it will cost. I could tell you right now, you will not go with Hercules Fencing because their prices were like 29,000, 19,000. They were very, very high. The prices that I have right now from the 2 different companies, I believe the chain link is around 9,000, and the wooden fence, I think the highest one was around 10,000.
Okay, that's good to know. Isn't,
Correction to the,
hold on, Commissioner Yuri. You can have the floor, but again, I was asking a question. Currently, isn't part of the fence missing?
Only the one of the entrances, the side entrance part of the fence. I don't know if somebody hit it or what, but we took it off because it was halfway off and, you know, bent over. The pieces of it were messed up, so we just took it completely off. Excuse me, completely off.
Okay, so there's a gap in the fence right now, correct?
Right, so you can, before you couldn't enter in that way unless you took it off. I think Park and Planning may have put it like that so that they can be able to ride the bobcats and stuff like that in when they put the wood chips down. So it was a fence that you were literally able to just lift off of the hinges and remove it and then put it back on.
Okay, so there's a gap in that fence right now. So at some point, the fence should be repaired, whether we pick a design now or not, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I think since we're redoing, Chief, I see your hand. You can go up, you can have the floor after Commissioner Yuri. I think we need to replace the fence because we would have to replace it anyway, since there's a portion of it that's missing. I thought a car hit it or
I
something.
think it did. I
I
can't
thought a car
remember
hit that
exactly what
fence.
happened, but I think it did.
Yeah, because I remember some caution tape being up there and I was like, oh gosh, that looks like a murder scene. But anyway,
Well, you might be right because it was the wires and stuff from the pole. I guess something that hit the wires. It was a whole bunch of wires and stuff wrapped around on the ground right there. So we had to wrap that stuff around the telephone pole and kind of like straighten that whole area up. So you might be right.
Yeah. So I think, and since we're getting the new equipment, to me, it makes sense to replace the fence. I mean, I know we have ARPA funds and I know that that's something the community would enjoy seeing done. They've made it clear that they wanted the tot lot updated. So we're doing that. I think it makes sense to install a new fence. I would like to see us do a ribbon cutting for the new installation because I think it's something special for the community. But how soon do you think you'll be able to give us the 3rd quote?
We can we should be able to make a decision if you want. I know that's a budget meeting, but I should have them by the budget meeting for sure.
Okay.
Hopefully they'll be in this week.
Okay, so when you present your budget on the 22nd, I think, does the top lot fall under your department?
It does.
Okay, so that would be perfect for you to present that to us, and that'll be right around them completing the installation, so I think that's perfect. Commissioner Yuri, you wanted to ask a question?
Yeah, so I'll just say this. So we've discussed the fence over the past couple of years, and so what we had decided with the fence is that, you know, our playground, the playground grant that we won was going to cover the equipment, and then we would kind of outline an additional budget for the fence. But because the playground went over budget by like nearly $30,000 or so, that took up the majority of what we had kind of outlined or discussed for that. So now we have to kind of come up with an additional fund for the fence. But if we use ARPA funds, that would be good and resourceful to do that. I sent over a lot of fence, pictures and estimates from things that I've seen in the area. We didn't get any feedback on that. So I guess here we are. From what we discussed that we would prefer something that's wooden or metal and wooden or kind of like steel framed and not the same type of, kind of barbed wire fence that we have. But I would be curious to see, I can't see what you guys have posted, like if you have anything on the screen, but Mr. Pickney, if you could send me what you have and we can
If
kind
I
of
can
discuss
share my
that
screen, I can show you
before.
what they look like.
Yeah, you can just send it, email it to me. I can't really view what you have up right now. And so we
Oh,
can
okay.
discuss that
He's on
before
the phone.
approval.
Commissioner Yuri, you
Yeah,
stated,
yeah.
you stated that you sent several pictures, but you didn't receive feedback. Who did you send the pictures to?
I sent the pictures to the entire commission. I sent them to Mr. Pickney several times. We've also had in our little private meetings where we did the playground committee, we've discussed it then also.
I've never received any.
And we've
pictures.
also,
So those
yeah, if you
pictures
go
that
back to
was
some of our,
those pictures that was
if you
sent
go
was
back,
all talked about on the last time that we talked about the fence. That's when we looked at the fence that had all those decorative type of pickets that was in there that was curved and things like that. And then we had the one that was red. One picket was red, one picket was yellow, one picket was blue. We looked at a couple different ones in that particular meeting, and Commissioner Givens had mentioned a couple different fences, like the vinyl fence that was low maintenance. We talked about a lot of different fences in that particular meeting, and we left that meeting with Commissioner Yuri and Commissioner Armache getting together and outlining a type of fence that we can get so that we can get some pricing on it, but we never came back to that.
That's what
yeah,
I.
so that was the outline. That was the outline of what we were looking for, and then we had follow-up meetings on the playground to discuss also with some of the constructors of the playground, but we decided that you were going to get some of the estimates from the designs that we sent forward and that we looked at. But now we're following up, and so we can move forward with that.
So again, from what I remember is what Mr. Pinkney just stated. We discussed the fences in a particular meeting, and we did look at several pictures on the screen. My recollection from that meeting was that we were going to leave it up to Commissioner Yuri and Commissioner Armache to make the decision on which type of fence to use, and then present.
Yes, after we got the
Please,
estimate.
Commissioner Yuri, please, I've asked other commissioners to be respectful, so I'm asking you, please be respectful and let whoever is speaking finish, and then you can have the floor. My comment is that, again, we had decided, based on the pictures that were shown in that meeting, that you and Commissioner Armache would make the decision on which fence to go with, because we all felt like whatever you guys chose, we would be fine with it. We just said, long as it matches the equipment and it's not looking real crazy, we're good with whatever you guys decide. But we never came back to it as commissioner, I mean, not commissioner, I'm making you a commissioner, sorry. Mr. Pinckney, as Mr. Pinckney said, we never came back to the conversation. So yes, now we're moving forward. But I just wanted to clear something up because you said you didn't receive feedback and there was no more feedback to be given because we had already decided it was going to be you guys' call. So, Mr. Pinckney, you said you're gonna have enough, what do you call it? Enough proposals for us at the March 22nd meeting?
Yes, I can have them for the March 22nd meeting.
Okay, Commissioner Yuri, would you like to look at them before then?
Yes, I would. And to clarify the record, the pictures that we sent were to show the commission what we had, and we were requesting cost estimates. If there's any more discussion on it, we can go back to the notes to clarify. But that was the last that we left off. We sent the pictures to get everybody's opinion. You told us, everybody told us what they liked and what they didn't like, and then we were going to leave it to Mr. Pinckney to get the cost estimates for it. I also, like I said, in some of our playground meetings, showed additional pictures and gave some cost estimates from Home Depot from what I found. So if you have any other discussion on it, you can check the meeting for complete proof. But yes, I would like to see what we have moving forward, and I can work with Mr. Pinckney on that.
Chief, you wanted the floor?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, that park right there is still supposed to be overseen by Park and Planning. Have we discussed to them to see if they would partner with us by buying the fence for us because we did everything else?
That fence, I mean, that park doesn't belong to Park and Plan. It's town's property. It's the town's park.
Okay.
Park and Plan and they used to come in and do maintenance to it, but because of manpower and the changes in their offices and stuff, they have opted out of maintaining and taking care of their park. That's why we started cutting the grass
Okay.
and all that.
Yeah, the reason why I said, because I saw the park sign out there saying that it's park property. Okay, I understand now. Thank you.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this may not sound realistic to anybody else besides me, but I've walked by the current tot lot several times, and it just struck me that, especially with some of the equipment there, it would be a shame to just throw it out. And I was wondering whether there was any way to take it and put it somewhere up around the town hall or something like that. Just throw that out there rather than just throw it away in the trash.
And can I say this? From what we were shown for the equipment, it looks like we're adding on to it instead of throwing instead of throwing the kind of jungle gym part. It looks like we're adding on to that instead of throwing that away to kind of avoid the liability of it. I think that's what we decided to do.
So you're keeping everything that's there now?
I think we're throwing away the horsies that are like from the 70s. So we don't really have
the little bitty ones that are on the ground, individual ones that are on the ground. Well,
Yeah,
those you might want to.
to.
Those might be good to put up around town hall for when we have events up there.
So I think
I don't
some
know.
of those things like horses and the slides are kind of old and not necessarily in regulation anymore. But I think we could maybe do something with the swings. Maybe we can look into that.
Okay, it just struck me that if there's a way to use some of it, that might be a good idea.
I can double check with them on that, but the last conversation that I remember about them removing the equipment is when they remove the equipment, they're coming in with their tractors and stuff and they're ripping that stuff out of the ground. They're not going to be digging it up, digging around it and trying to pull it out.
So they're going to be destroying it, basically, sounds like.
Right.
Okay. Well, thank you.
If there's no other questions on the top lot, did you want to finish up your report?
Yes, I have on here, I met with DNR Construction, who did our sidewalks. Just to have a conversation about the 38th, lot that we have, the vacant lot that's on 38th Avenue. And my question to the commission is, are we seriously trying to make this a parking lot? Or, I mean, I know the chief wanted to have something to provide to you guys, but I don't want to waste time and resources on trying to get information and quotes and things like that. And we're not going to do anything with it. And that's just, that's beyond what the commission wants to do with that property. So kind of wanted to get some direction on what do you guys, what's the plan for that vacant lot?
I think there were some legal questions that Kevin was going to follow up on. Before you did anything.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because I know one of the things that we need to get done in order for him to, for any of the contractors, because they've all asked me for, is we need a survey of that actual land. And I checked in on the cost of surveys for that particular property, and it's about $500. So I don't want to go, talking to the town manager about spending money that not going to be necessarily needed to be spent. So.
well, my recollection was that it was not definite that will be paid. I think the discussion is ongoing, so it might be premature at this point in terms of talking to construction companies until the commission makes a decision.
Okay. And then the last thing is the spring dumpster day. We're looking for the dumpster day to be on the 6th and the 7th. That is a cost that goes, generally goes above $1,000. So I'm bringing that to the commission. If we want to move forward with the spring dumpster day, to give me the authority, or give the town manager the authority to write off on the dumpster day.
What's
What
the
my-
date? You said the 6th?
The
Yeah.
6th and the 7th of May.
Okay.
And we wanted to, bring it up in this meeting because we want Brittany to be able to put it in the newsletter for April.
Are you asking if those dates are okay?
Not necessarily the dates, if it's okay for the town manager to be able to sign off on spending that money for dumpster day, because it's gonna be over $1,000.
Yeah, but isn't it already in your budget? Because don't we usually budget for twice a year?
We do, but I mean, because it's over $1,000, I want to make sure that the commission is okay with moving forward with it.
Yeah, I'm okay with it because I know it's needed. Anyone object?
I'm okay with it.
Givens, I'm okay with it.
So that's 3.
I'm fine with it. This is Yuri.
So it's okay for her to spend the money.
Okay.
I have a question for you.
Mm.
I'm looking at the report and it says you contacted Pepco about the installation of 2 new light poles. And you're waiting on an update. So what's the update? I
Oh
mean,
yeah. Pepco, the 2 new light poles, the light pole on Cottage Terrace and the light pole on Parkwood. You guys already approved the invoices. We already paid them, and we're just waiting on the date from Pepco. They haven't submitted a date, so I reached out to I believe his name is Sean from Pepco, and he supposed to be getting back to me to find out what's the holdup on the installation date. There's been some emails going back and forth with, I believe, the contractor and Pepco about, I guess, them paying them to come out or something. So we're trying to find out what's going on with that so we can get a date for installation, because we want to be able to let the people know, the residents know, when that stuff is going to start, and what part of the street is going to be blocked off and for how long and things like that. But we haven't received anything, so I did reach out to him and talk to him, and he's supposed to be getting me an update on that, as well as the leaning pole that me and Ms. Richardson pointed out to him down at the end of Cottage Terrace by the garden. They supposed to be coming in to stand that pole back up and put it back in the ground properly, but they haven't been out and we haven't got no update on it. So I've been going back and forth with him trying to get an update, and he's supposed to be getting back to me. He said he was going to call his boss, talk to his boss, and find out, what's the holdup on it.
Okay, thank you. I have another question. This is about the painting the curves yellow. So I
Mhm.
know it's starting to get, it's been, the weather's been kind of nice and it's going to be getting warmer. So do you plan on finish painting the curves? Because I know there's some curves in my ward, and I think it's Ward 2, that haven't been painted yellow.
They haven't been painted at all.
They haven't been recently painted. They're very faded. Yeah.
Yeah, we usually try to paint them around the springtime, so we'll start in the spring. That's the first project that we usually do for this particular season. So we'll start it in the spring.
Okay. And then this gutter repair replacement, is that on the town hall?
Yes. So that's I met with 2 contractors who came out to look at the gutters and gave us some things that we can do with the gutters to get the water off the building. One contractor feels that we need to get brand new gutters. The other contractor, he felt that the same thing, but at the same time, he was like, if we want to repair it, we can repair it. It's pretty much up to us. So been trying to get those proposals, and that's really I'll talk more about that at the budget meeting, because that's the reason why I was contacting them, so I can have it for budget purposes.
If you look at some of the walls, like in the town hall meeting room, you can see the water damage.
Yeah, two of the areas there where they connect they're up against the town hall with no cap on it. So a lot of that water just runs up against the corner of the building, could be coming in the building. That was one of the things that I pointed out to them, and they was talking about putting caps on those ends, shaving them back, putting caps on those ends, or if they run new gutters, they'll make sure that there's a cap on those ends so that water does not go up against the building, but actually flows where it's supposed to flow. So, yeah, I'll talk more about that at the budget meeting once I get, enough proposals to be able to share with the commission. I think new gutters right now was looking like about 35 or $4,000, something like that. I can't remember exactly.
How much again?
It was like 35 or $4,000. And that was for new gutters. And then also some areas where we want to run PVC piping underneath the ground or whatever to get the water away from the building.
Okay, so I remember the building had a leak before.
2.
Well, 2 leaks. Is it in the same area?
What you mean? The
leak.
gutters?
Yeah, the gutters.
The gutters are in those areas where the leak was. One is over by the police department. That was the first mold remediation that we had to do in that area. I can't say that it came from the gutters because we had a bad roof at the same time. We had to do some patchwork on the roof.
Hey, right.
And then a couple years ago, when we had the second one, that's when we wound up getting a whole new roof.
Mhm.
So it could have been the roof where the water was leaking from,
Mhm.
but because the gutters are out, identified as a hazard or could be the problem as well. We wanted to make sure we address that, as well as Commissioner Givens. He can speak on that as well, as far as the water running up against the building, and just deteriorating the soil and stuff like that, which can cause foundation problems. So we're trying to pretty much attack it in the best manner so that we won't have these problems, whether it's new gutters or, we're able to fix what we have. We still want to make sure that we able to rectify that issue.
Okay, because I remember the mold remediation that we had to do, and I remember the 2 leaks, and I remember them having to cut out the wall and do a whole bunch of stuff. So I was just wondering if it was in the same area again.
Right. Matter of fact, the second one was over in the area of my old office in the conference room, up against the wall that's by the kitchen in the back corner where the door is. So it could have came from that, or it could have just came from the roof.
But it's all that same side.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know, that side for some reason seems to have a lot of issues with water. Okay, all right. Does anyone else have any questions for Mr. Pinckney before he ends his report? All right, hearing nothing else, is that all for us tonight?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for the information.
Oh, I got one question real quick.
Mhm.
Did we get a follow-up on that pole at Shepherd Street and Cottage Terrace? It's broken at the top, and it's still got the Westham around it. I did see a guy come out a couple of months ago. He looked at it, but then he didn't do anything. He left. So have we followed up on that?
That's another pole that I'm working with Pepco with that whole street. We're trying to figure out, what's the holdup on them coming out.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And I want to say thank you, Mr. Pinckney, for the new street signs. They look really nice. Glad you got those installed. All right, next up is the police department. Chief, are you ready to give your report?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening. First of all, we had a major audit for the police department records this past month, and we did pass it. We were audited by, the Maryland Police and Correction Training Commission. This is something that's very important. It's showing that we were up to date with our mandates, as well as some of our changes that we had to do with some of our record keeping, and we did pass. And so I just want to make sure that y'all know that we passed, and that's one thing we off our plate. We did receive our LEFTA system. Right now, Sergeant Hayes, as well as Corporal Thompson, is working on uploading our information to LEFTA so they can actually build our system for our records keeping. So they're working on that right now. BolaWrap training, we received our BolaWrap training last week. All the officers are certified to carry BolaWrap. They signed off on the special orders. We are putting our rules and procedures into our general orders as we speak with FlexiPool. That should be completed by next week. Our Narcan training, all our officers are Narcan certified. They're being administered Narcan to individuals that are going through a situation where overdose has been the cause of them losing consciousness. CPR mannequins, we did talk to Park and Planning Police Department, Park Police. They are willing to donate 3 child mannequins as well as 3 adult mannequins to our police department, so we can start training our citizens on how to provide CPR for their loved ones. Speed cameras, we have one of our speed cameras up right now on 42nd. It's averaging 80 violations a day, which we do the numbers is pretty much 560 a week. If you break it down for a whole year, you're talking about well, 29,120 for violations a year. I'm sorry. Yeah, violations a year, where it comes up to $1,164,800 worth of revenue that will be collected. And what I did, I was being kind of modest by taking out 30%, saying that we will receive at least 30% of that money, and that would come up to $349,440 worth of revenue coming back to the town. If we get both cameras up and running, which we should have the other camera up and running by April, the second camera, the total amount we receive in to the police department for the violations, after everybody take their portions off of it, and those that might not pay, we would probably receive roughly $698,880 dollars. So that's going to be added revenue to next year's budget. In reference to Easter egg extravaganza, that's going to be April 8th, the day before Easter. We have planned out an Easter egg hunt for 3 different age groups, as well as a play day for the older kids, where we can have activities and games for them on the field. It's going to be held at the park down off of Park Bunker Hill, as well as using the large field by the river. Handicap access. Yesterday we had 2 individuals coming into the station in wheelchairs, and I've been there for 3 years. I wasn't paying attention, but they had a very hard time getting into the town hall. And I think we need to start looking at a way to make that accessible. That one entrance right there for wheelchairs, to be able to press a button to actually open those doors for them. I try to see if we can look at trying to add that to Public Works budget, so we can get a new door that can have access for people in wheelchairs, because both of them had a hard time getting in. I had to go out there, leave my office to open the door for them before they could come in. And I just realized that we don't have a proper accessibility for our people that have disabilities. So let's bring that to your attention.
Hey, Chief,
Yes.
you talking about the town hall, at the town hall?
Not town hall, I'm talking about when they come in for the side door to come in to be serviced at the police station or the town office. That door right
Okay.
there.
That needs to be talked about for general government.
Okay, I understand. But I'm just bringing to your attention because yesterday I felt kind of bad that, we just didn't have that for them. Community community surveillance program. We moving forward with that. We have like 20 individuals that came up and signed up for the cameras. We issued out 20 cameras to our residents. Starting next week, we'll have officers going out to the community to have people that already have the rings or some kind of camera system on the outside of their houses or their businesses. We're trying to get them to sign up for our program, where we have a log where we have all these cameras in our town. In case something happens, we know where we can receive video footage to actually help us close these cases out or prevent cases. We are going to push to get more people to come out to get the ring cameras. We do have 100. We want to give out 20. Also, the AV cameras that will be on the main roadways, they should be installed by probably May. So we have 2 on the main roadway. They're going to use the same poles that we have for our speed cameras, which will save us money for installation fees, which will give us more room to actually do other things in reference to the security of the building, the town hall, which we had 2 people came and gave us estimates for our new security system. We're trying to upgrade our security to actually give us mobile access to our town hall room. So that means that, for instance, if someone wants to come and rent out the hall, instead of having us have to go up there, because we have the cameras there as well as the security system, we can actually open up and close up and lock up without having people come on site. We can do it by phone. So it's a very neat program. It can fit into our budget that we have already made for our grant money we received in for this project. And so we're trying to see what we can do. Once I get that information, I will present it back to the council for their approval to move forward with that idea. and show that it could fit inside the budget. In reference to the portable cameras, it was brought to my attention that Commissioner Young wants to research possible portable cameras that we take around to different parts of the area that we have dumping issues. There's a couple of ideas that we have already that we can probably visit tonight. One is that we already have 4 trail cameras that we got for Mr. Wade when we had that dumping issue before. Those are pretty decent. The problem with those is that we have to go out there and retrieve the chip inside those cameras to actually download it. So it's not real-time information. So people get away very quickly and we can't really know if they hit that spot or not until we go out there and pull the video. Or somebody say, well, a dumping happened, and then go out there, get the video and download it and see what happened. The other option is what I found out tonight is that it's cost effective to get the Ring security spotlight. What's so good about this is that if someone goes to the area, it will turn on the spotlight for one, it will record if you want, and also alerts the officers to their cell phone. So it goes right to our cell phone, say somebody's there in that location. So it means that we can look at our phones and see exactly the video real time, where they're at, and we can communicate with them. We can actually press the microphone and we can speak to them, say, the park is closed at the dusk, please vacate. So it could be a deterrent as well as used for getting information if someone does dump or somebody is hanging out in the woods. So that they have a bundle right now that is that's the $700 with $600 and some cents. That's the $700 to actually buy the bundle that consists of 4 cameras and 4 solar panels that connects to the cameras, so you don't have to go out there and charge the battery constantly. It will recharge itself. So these 2 ideas that we have going right now, we have 4 that's on site right now we can use, but like I said before, it's not really gonna be a deterrent. It'd be more of the back end of investigation, and it's gonna be like after the fact. With the Ring spotlight cameras, we can actually get real-time information alerts that we can actually call, send an officer out there to the location, or we speak through a phone or speak to the camera and have them to vacate. So those are some of the ideas I want to see what you're feeling tonight about, and see if we'll move forward, because I do have some funding in my my police equipment fund that can actually purchase the $600 worth of cameras to actually start the program immediately, but it's up to the commission.
Are you finished?
For right now, because once I get into the vehicles, it might be a lot of talking back and forth. So I'm gonna stop right now, see if you have any questions about what I said first before I go into the vehicles.
Yes, I have my hand raised. I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So you had talked about the ADH compliance with the door. So I know that this has come up before, and that the commission had discussed replacing all the doors in the building and to make them more ADH compliant. And I heard Mr. Pinckney when he said that it would fall under the general administration budget. But are you thinking like the automatic door where you push it with your hand and then it opens up wide and stuff, and then the wheelchair can roll through that way? Are you talking about ramps? Are you talking about the whole kebab, or what? What are you talking about?
No, actually, with the door that I'm talking about, it's enough room for a person in a wheelchair to go through. The problem is the door doesn't open up. They had to pull it, and they were struggling trying to open up to get the wheelchairs in. So a person had to actually go outside to open the door for them to actually enter into our building.
That's why I said, are you talking about the automatic doors?
Yes, when they press the button, the door opens up. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yes, that's what I was asking. So
Yes.
I think that's a good idea, because I know it's come up before. It's not the first time. And when, I don't know why the commission never acted on it, but I think it should be. Okay, so Greg said, I believe we put in a grant for new doors and windows. I remember, yeah, I think you're right. We did put in a grant for that. I don't know if that grant ever got approved, but
Well, I can comment on that.
okay, well, after I
Oh, I'm
finish,
sorry.
please. So I think we definitely should do the handicap doors or handicap accessible doors. I think we need to do it sooner rather than later because it's long overdue. And then I wanted to ask you about the red light camera program, but I'll let Ms. Richardson respond to the grant, and then I want to ask you the question about the camera program.
Sure.
Yeah, we applied for an NEA grant for energy efficiency for all the windows and doors. And the plan was, once we replace the doors, we would make sure that they're ADA compliant. So we still have not heard on whether we've gotten it, but that was the plan in terms of, you know, if we got the grant to address the ADA accessibility issue.
When will you hear about the grant?
I can follow up tomorrow. In terms of their timeline, and I'll find out.
And if we don't get the grant, what's the plan?
Well, then I think at that point, you know, we need to look at putting something in the budget to address it.
I think we should put something in the budget just in case we don't get approved for the grant.
Makes sense.
Okay, Chief, in regards to the cameras, I believe you and Carol had a meeting with the previous red light camera company.
Oh, that's red light camera. Yes.
Did
in
you get
reference-
that straightened out?
Kind of, sort of.
Okay.
They're very difficult. The sooner we can get away from them, the better. I'm being nice. I'm trying to be nice. But it's the point where she talks in circles. She's trying to not give us what we want. She finally sent something to us today that she said she sent to us before, but she didn't. We're looking at stuff. It's almost like $2 million worth of revenue that they didn't collect from us, for us, or go after, or they claim they went after, but they pretty much, once they put a response out and they didn't get a response back from anybody, they left it alone. That's unsatisfactory, especially the amount of money that we're paying for them to do the collection. So we do have, she told us that we will have access to the people's names and addresses for those that owe us money. We only could go back 7 years, which is good because that's a lot of money within the 7 years. And you have a lot of people that are double violators or triple violators. We have one guy that's been violating so much that he owes us like $2,000. So we have people that have multiple citations, multiple violations that haven't paid us. My suggestion is to allow us to either hire a collection agency to actually collect on this, because what they do is don't charge us up front. They would get a portion off of what they receive. We can look into trying to see if we can get one sooner than later to actually start looking at the list, the long list that we have, and see if we can recover some of that money, that revenue, because that revenue is owed to the town. Now, the question I have, and I didn't talk to her about it yet, is that if we go after the money after we cancel our relationship with them, do we have to owe them their portion? So that's something we need to talk about when it's time for us to actually give them their 30-day notice that we're moving somewhere else. To actually ask them that, okay, well, we got the list from you. If we go after these people, do we have to pay you back a portion? We got to look in that agreement and make sure that we are clear with that, because I don't want us to go ahead and collect this money and then we have to give them a portion. Am I pretty much caught up with everything, Ms. Richardson, with that? Or anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think, you know, when I mentioned to you, propose we, you know, get that information to get an outside entity to collect it, just understand, you know, we won't get all of that. There may be a significant portion that the collection agency or, you know, company will take, but at least, you know, we're getting something back. You know, in the audit, it said, I guess this is over a number of years, that we've lost about $2 million. No, it was more than that. $2 million worth of money from that money, from red light not being collected. So yeah, and I was shocked. So that's kind of why I mentioned it to the chief, to get that information so that we could go after it and at least recoup something.
So you and the chief are both recommending that we hire a collection agency to go after the outstanding fees?
Yes,
And you think it's feasible for us to do that?
yes, because we won't lose out on anything because they won't charge us. Well, we gotta find out which agency we go with. Some agencies have, we call lookup fees, where every time they look something up, it's a fee. And they have those that say, well, we will go after everybody, and wherever we receive, we take a portion of that what we collected. So it depends on the agreement we go with. And before we make a decision, we come back with all the different scenarios and present it to the commission for final approval with our recommendations.
Okay, but I
This is
thought the new company, Red Speed, had a department for collections, and we were gonna turn all the outstanding tickets over to them. So that's not the case?
It could be an option, but like I said, it's the point where, I want them to focus on our stuff that is coming in right now. I don't want to overload them with something else extra, if we don't have to, because there's gonna be a lot of revenue generated just from our stuff, because they want to have relay camera as well as speed camera.
Okay,
Right.
I got you, I understand.
Right.
All right,
Now, another thing we need to discuss also is that, in the state of Maryland, you're allowed to charge people late fees now, and you're also allowed to charge people collection fees. My suggestion is that we want present, myself and Ms. Richards will present a resolution to the commission, probably hopefully by April or May, to give the town authority to put all these fees back onto the individual that is the violator. For instance, if we have to go to chase you down, you have to pay that. If you are late with your payment, you need to pay back a late fee as well as administration fees. So in the state of Maryland, they have passed a new ordinance that we can do that. I think that's something that we need to discuss.
okay, I got a question. So you know how sometimes when you don't pay your tickets, they put a hold on your license or
A flag.
Flag,
a
yes.
flag or whatever you call it on your registration, and they might make your tags dead or something. I don't know, because I've never had that problem, but is that an option for us?
That's already being done. The problem is that they only pay $40. So like for relay cameras, $75. The relay camera is $75. That means if we do flag them, we won't get them for 2 years. So 2 years, it won't pay for 2 years.
Mhm.
And then when we do get the money back from them, it's only a portion of that $75. What I'm saying is, when they pay after 2 years, they will get a late charge, they will get a collection fee, as well as their flag fee they have to pay to us because they're late and they didn't do what they're supposed to do. Because what's happening right now is we're losing a lot of money for collections, because every time they go for collections, we pay an extra cost. It's less money coming back to the town. So at that 40, if they pay up front, we might get probably 30 out that 40 or 25 out that 40. Okay. What's going to happen is, if they have to go to collections or someone has to go after them,
Mhm.
our part is cut, not the Red Speed is cut. Ours cut. So that means that we get less money off the end. What I'm saying is, we need to put that charge back on the violator.
Okay, I understand. All right, thank you for explaining it. I don't have any more questions.
Can I ask Chief, so how far are these tickets dating back to?
These
Like
two,
that we have,
y'all started back in 2000, what was it, 2011?
What?
It was, I don't
are
have it.
we able to go back? Are we able to go back that far and collect something that's that overdue?
No, only 7 years.
Only 7 years.
7 years, okay, I'm sorry.
But 7 years is a lot of money is still left out there in 7 years.
So from 7 years to now, it's still that much money, or is it a different amount?
It's probably a different amount. It's probably like high 1 million.
Oh, okay. Okay, and like how are, late fees assessed if it's like within 7 years? Like, let's say it's 6 years, is that gonna be 6 years worth of fees, or are we just gonna leave it to, from when we started to kind of, I guess we stopped going after them? Like, how does that work?
The ones that are done now, the past ones are grandfathered. We can't touch those. When we pass this through
Okay.
resolution, it's moving forward. We can't go back and charge these people because we never had that resolution in place. So it's moving forward from like
Okay,
this
so we
year
can't
on. No, we can't charge those people late fees.
Oh, okay. So when you were talking about like collecting like some of the past, there were no late fees connected. That's just from what the tickets were
Right.
for.
So out of a $40, out of a $75 ticket, we probably get after everything is done, you probably get something like $25 or $30, which adds up. But
Okay.
we won't get the full $45 or $50. It'd be less, a lot less.
Okay, I know the collection companies allow you to settle for a lower amount, right? Just to be mindful of that also.
Right.
Putting it out there. Okay, thank you for the report.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Chief, thank you for your report on the cameras for the dumping down there in Dueling Creek from the, the businesses up there on Bladensburg. Personally, I think it would be good to have the kind where the pictures go straight into you so that you can, someone from the police can go right out there. And so I would suggest that you put that in your budget for the next time we talk about it. And I have a question, and obviously other people may have their views as well. I have a question, and that is where would you put that camera? I mean, would you have to drive down through the field there in Dueling Creek, or would you put it somewhere up at the top, or is there a good place to put it? That was the only thing I was wondering when it was raised to me.
Well, these could be put on trees because, like I said, it's the point where you have to find an open area where sunlight would come in. So it has to be placed in a way where the sun can actually hit this constantly. But it can be moved. It can be moved around. It's portable, so that means it doesn't have to stay in the tree for a long period of time. You just want to sit it and up high so people can't really damage it because it's gonna be noticeable, and we're gonna be speaking to it, as well as it's gonna hit and alert us immediately. So if somebody walk past there and trigger it, it's gonna send us alert, say that someone's in the woods, like where they were sitting and drinking beer and stuff, and cause that fire. We can actually put one nearby on the pole, on there's a pole down there, as well as there's a bunch of trees there. We can post it on a tree and leave it. And when someone walks past or starts sitting up there, we can actually see them and actually send officers over there because real time it alert, because anybody walk past is motion. Anybody somebody walk past that camera, it's going to turn the camera on and it's going to actually send an alert.
That's great. Have we been having many problems with dumping? I know we had in the past, and then the guy from over there had tried to, he put up another fence or something, but have we been having a lot of problems lately?
No, the dumping has been reduced when they fixed the fence. When Mr. I forgot his name over at Eastgate.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
I forgot his name off the top of my head.
But yeah, he did.
Yeah, once he repaired that fence, Mr. Decker, once he fenced, he closed that fence off and closed off the fence. And he does close every night after 7 o'clock. He does close the main fence so people can't go behind there. The dumping has reduced tremendously. The problem is that, even with the dumpsters, because we have problem with the dumpsters being left open and the cardboard was flying out the dumpsters over the fence, that has reduced because he has forced them to put locks on their dumpsters lids so they don't fly open and the dust and all that cardboard come over into the creek. So a lot of stuff has been reduced, but we want to make sure that we have the equipment ready. So in case we have people in the woods again drink a lot of beer, because if you saw how many beer cans were out there, they were out there for a while. And we had something like, you saw how many bags of trash, we had like 25 bags of trash we cleaned up that day. They were sitting out there that we cleaned up from just beer cans. And park police and park maintenance went in there on Monday and finished to clean up. They got the heavy stuff like the sofa and the chairs and the fire pit they had. They moved all that stuff out. But that was a lot of stuff that was there because then they were deep in the woods for so long period of time that it gathered. And now with the camera system, having these portable cameras, we can put it out there, we can actually deter that. We can deter it and we can get people out there and respond to people out in the woods.
Well, thank
hopefully-
you. Yeah,
yeah.
I think it'd be a great idea. So, and I hope other people will agree, and I do suggest that you go ahead and include that in your budget, and we can talk about it at that point unless people want.
Well,
to talk
I
about
have
now.
it. I have money in my budget right now. I mean, it's only $6.99.
Oh, okay.
That I can purchase it now. It's up to the commission to give me authority to go ahead and do it. If it's something we don't want to do. Also, for a problem we had on 37th Avenue in reference to the people breaking cars, we can actually place that
Right.
camera on a pole. Even over at the townhomes, we can put it on, if we have problems with people going to townhomes stealing things or at the thing, we can put it actually on a pole, and anybody walk past that pole or drive past that pole, we can actually get alerts, or we can see who comes in and come out if they start breaking cars again.
That's
Or
great.
so there's a lot of things we can do with the portable cameras. So it's the point where, and they're not that powerful that we can go into people's houses. So it's the point where the distance, how far they can go. So we have to keep it close to where we know for a fact that we have problems, but at the same time,
Right.
we can benefit from having that technology.
You're watching 37th Place as well as 37th Avenue, right? Because I was told by someone who lives on 37th Place that a car across the street from them had been stolen.
Right.
Um,
So we do on both locations right now.
okay, great. Thank you.
Any other questions about the cameras? And if y'all can make a decision tonight, if y'all want me to move forward to get the solar powered portable cameras, I can do that. I can make the order tomorrow. So it's the commission.
Thank you.
Is there a monthly service cost for that?
Yes, that's each camera would be $40 $40 a month, each camera.
Okay.
Yeah, but I could fit that with my my surveillance budget. That's already for my budget. It's already locked in my budget because I kind of went kind of high with my surveillance budget for my monthly fees for next year. So I put room for cameras like that. So I already had that locked in my budget.
So you're talking about getting 4 camera? How many trail cameras you talking about getting?
We already have 4 trail cameras, but those
I
are
mean-
digital.
Oh, no,
for
I'm talking about the
ring cameras. We get 4 portable ones. So we can put one on our trailer, our speed trailer. We put one on our speed trailer that can stay on a speed trailer, and then the other ones can move around the town as needed.
So that's $160 a month in
Right.
fees alone.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't want to get 4. I'm willing to go for 2 and see how that works out. I don't want to pay for 4. I yield back.
That's fine. But I mean, you get this, the bundle is that way, so it'd be cheaper price per camera. If we go, they do have bundle for 2, but it's not going to get the bang for the savings. But I understand what you're saying. If you want me to go 2, that's fine.
I mean, it's something that you're not going to be using all the time. I mean, I'm not an advocate for having what's the names posted up into the town, as far as cameras posted up in the town. I understand we have issues and we want to address those. I get that. And I think, but those are periodically. I don't want to have anything permanent. I think that we start getting into privacy issues and residents, may not be cool with that. I can understand when we have a problem, we should address it, and perhaps that's appropriate. But having 4, it just seems like 2 could conceivably address any issues that we were having, and 4 may just seem like the overkill. And then we're looking for places to put them.
Well, the issue we have right now, we have 4 issues right now that we're dealing with. We're dealing with the death off 2 streets. For possible cars coming in and carjacking or stealing cars, and then we have a wood issue with people with the the homeless people in the woods, and then we have extra ones. So if something else happens, we can go ahead and move that around. But if you want to go with 2, that's fine to see how it works, and if something is we benefit from it, and we also go back and say we need 2 more. But I agree. If you want to go ahead and do 2, it's fine. Just to test the system and make sure it works. We can do that. I'm okay with that. Any other people have any comments about doing 204?
I think we should do 4. That was
Any other-
Commissioner Wheatley.
Commissioner Young or Commissioner I'm sorry. What's on here?
I don't,
Yeah.
you know, I don't have a strong opinion one way or the other. I don't know whether now's a particularly heavy time. I know we're having the problem over here, which may add to it, but if you get a cheaper deal on the cameras themselves by doing more, it might be good to have more. Wouldn't necessarily be using all of them all the time, but for 160 versus 80 a month,
But another
for
option you
things
have,
like the dumping, that would be helpful.
another option we can have too is that with Ring, we can shut down and turn it on anytime we want to. So like, for instance, we buy 4, we don't have to activate all 4. We can actually say, well, you need 2 to activate this month. You just activate 2. So they charge you per camera. So I have cameras on my house. So for instance, if one camera goes down and I don't want to use it no more, I can just call the same day and say, look, take it off next month. I'm not gonna have that camera on next month. They would do that. So for instance, like Mr. Commissioner Gibbons said, if you don't need all 4 active at the same time, we don't have to activate all 4. We can say, look, right now I have 1 case going on right now. I just want to activate 1 for this month or 2 for this month. So we can do that. We used to have.
And we only
cameras
have to pay for the ones that are activated.
that we activate. Yes, ma'am. We can shut
Oh,
down.
that's
anytime we want
that's
to.
good to know. Then I
Yeah.
think I'd go with 4.
Yeah, we don't, with Ring, you don't have to be locked in for a yearly contract. It's month to month.
But you still have to spend the $6.99 for each camera.
No, for one-time fee.
Oh,
For a bundle for 4 cameras. That's one-time fee. You own the cameras now. So now if I have the cameras and we have a situation right now, I have 3 locations. I can activate 3 for 1 month. And I say the next month, activate 1 or 2, or maybe not have none activated because nothing going on. So I can adjust it by month to month situations. So, you know, that way you don't have to worry about bleeding into having these cameras that now out there, like Commissioner Gibbons saying, we sell them sitting and be paying a monthly fee. So I can get all that information back to y'all by next month in reference to how we can work it out. But if you want to go ahead for me to go ahead and purchase them now, they do have a special right now. I think there's a percentage off. But like I said, it's the point where it's up to the commission what they want to do.
Yeah, I'm okay with that, with getting 4, and then that way, and based on what we just talked about.
Okay. And another thing too is that hopefully not gonna work. We don't have anybody destroy them or steal them, that we have to replace one. Like I said, it's the point where at least we have 4 on site. You know, if we have a major situation where we have to lock down a town or put it in an area at different angles, because you gotta realize these not high power cameras. So it means that the distance is gonna be it's almost like a doorbell. It goes by 200 feet, and that's less than 200 feet. It's like 125 feet is max. So you're not gonna get like the whole forest. You're just gonna get a small little area. So for a dumping complaint that, you know, has a larger area, you might have to put 2 up. But like I said, it's the point where that's why I like these, because you don't evade people privacy, because they're not high powered camera systems that can go long distance. It's just a short distance where it can pull in that data or the information.
Chief, did you say, I know you said there's 2 problem areas right now, and you said the wooded area or the park area.
All of it is over Ward 1. Ward
All
1
the
right now.
problems are in Ward 1. So there's no problems on Bladensburg Road where the businesses are?
Not yet, but we did have some problems across the street. There's a lot of robberies happening over there on Como Manor side. But hopefully we got AV cameras coming out. I'm sorry. Hopefully we got AV cameras coming up on Bladensburg Road. That should take care of Bladensburg Road, because those will be pointing at the roadway and the entrance to the parking lot of the shopping center. So hopefully we can help them solve some of those cases.
Okay, thank you.
Could I ask you? Oh, I've been wondering whether some of the people that have been causing problems over in Ward 1 may be coming across the tracks, you know, down there where 37th hits Cottage Terrace.
I can answer that. My dog's going
Okay,
crazy.
I just wondered. Okay.
No, I can answer that. The
Oh,
four
you can?
gentlemen,
Oh,
the four gentlemen report inside inside the park behind those houses, where they burnt down an acre of land back in the park. They are from Como Manor, and they hang out in Como Manor. What they do is
oh,
because they shut down the car wash. That's where we used to hang out. We used to hang out at the car wash over there in Como Manor side to drink their beer. They shut that down, and right now Como Manor is doing a lot of heavy enforcement over there. So now they're coming over on our side and going to our woods back. While we out there cleaning up, we did have two people cross the railroad tracks from Brentwood side to see what's going on, but they saw us and they went back across the train track. So it's a combination of people live over Brentwood or from Brentwood and people from Como Manor. And most of them are homeless people, and then we have some people that live over Como Manor that we have stopped in the past. They were hanging in the woods. So if we can go ahead and just find some way, because most of it's stemming from the alcohol is being sold from convenience store and liquor store over there at Como Manor. That's where most of the stuff, and that's why most of the homeless people stay in the area because of the alcohol.
thank you.
No problem.
At the end of your report?
Yes, pretty much. And I did have the report completed for Commissioner Uri in reference to the vehicle information she asked for. So we do have that information that we present to the commission. And I think before we
Thank you,
move on, no problem. Do I give him permission to go ahead and purchase the cameras tomorrow? Go ahead and order those cameras?
Okay with me.
Just one.
Fine with me.
That's two.
Givens, I'm okay with it.
That's three.
I'm fine with it, Yuri.
All right, I'll purchase it and get started for y'all. All right. In reference to the vehicles, I think she's gonna pull it up. But we do have all the vehicles data for you for the last 3 years. So we broke it up by calendar years as well as by a fiscal year. So you will see a breakout for both. So you have an idea of how we were paying on vehicle services. Also, we broke down the mileage for each one of the vehicles. So you have a data about where all the vehicles are at this moment with their mileage. And we also put down a list of officers that were assigned to each vehicle. And we have noticed that all the vehicles have major repairs every year. So it's not just like an older car or a new car. We have some vehicles that are getting major repairs. And the reason why is because you have to realize those vehicles that are constantly running all day, yes, they're not putting a lot of mileage on the engine, but the
Excuse
engine
me,
is,
Chief.
yes.
Excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Do you have that document available for us to review on the screen
Yes. I
or for
think
the public to see?
yes. I think she's trying to put it up.
Hold on.
Because it would be helpful for us to see the numbers.
Sure.
I know you emailed it to us, but
Yeah, it's not gonna be in that report.
Oh, it's not in this report?
No,
Okay.
it was separate. It was sent to you separately.
Well, that's not in there, so.
Yeah, can someone send that to my email address? Because I don't have access to that to the town.
Sure. If you text me tonight, your personal email, I'll make sure Mr. Givens, you get that sooner or later. But Ms. Richardson, if you look at your emails from me today, I sent you again today.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. And going back to vehicles running, sometimes you gotta realize that we do 10-hour shifts with our officers, and the car might not be moving a lot, but the car is constantly on. So the engine is moving. Also, all the materials, all the equipment we have that's being run by the car, plus wear is on the cars too. So it's almost like taxi cabs. If you do any research about taxi cabs and police cars, they are swapped out very early because of, not because of mileage, it's because of wear and tear of idling time or stop and go traffic and brakes and suspensions. So it's a point where you put a lot of wear and tear on your transmissions, you put a lot of wear and tear on your stop and go, your brakes. So it's a point where I want you to put that in consideration. Also, for consideration in reference to what I want to do is that we're going to bring in an added $698,000 worth of revenue coming back to public safety. And so it's the point where this added revenue, additional from the red light camera, that is going to increase too, because we'll have a brand new camera system as well as a new collection agency. So those numbers will go up also in reference to collections. So we're going to bring in some added revenue to actually make sure that we have the funding to actually replace 2 additional cars with plenty of money left over to do stuff like adding lighting in the community, adding sidewalks, even extra money to actually address some of the issues we have on 30th Avenue in reference to those crosswalks, from adding lighting there so we can actually illuminate those crosswalks, as well as flashing lights to let people know that pedestrian is going to cross. So there's a lot of money that we can actually use from these additional funds to actually make our community safer. Also, it's going to give us enough revenue to actually address some of the issues we have near the park. Because right now, we found out that we do have a MOU, an active MOU with Park Police, and we will start enforcing some of those alcohol issues we have in the park where people sit in the pavilion areas after dusk and drink alcohol. So a lot of stuff now we'll be able to do with this add additional revenue, as well as access to be able to enforce laws in park areas. So right now what we have up here is all the vehicles that we have right now, even with the vehicle that we no longer have, is on there because it's some of the money was pulled from that maintenance cost from that vehicle that but was causing an accident that we don't have any longer. But all those vehicles are right there, and it has the maintenance cost for 2020. And then you click on 2021, you see the next group, which is the total amount was $17,000. And 2022, you go to that one. See, it goes up to 19. So that means that more repairs need to be done on the same vehicles. It's like it's not going down, it's going higher. So you'll be making repairs, but the repairs are getting more severe and more costly. If you go to 2023, we don't have any right now because we're still waiting for the be charged for those services we rendered so far.
I see your hand, Commissioner Givens. I see your hand. Oh,
Yes,
it's-
Commissioner Gibbons. I'm finished for that part.
Go ahead, Commissioner Givens.
So, yeah, I'm not ready I appreciate you sending me that stuff. So I'm not ready to have a discussion on it because I haven't had a chance to review it. That wouldn't be a fair discussion. But I appreciate you providing the information to us. I would say this, one of the things that in our, that they have on the new cars, and matter of fact, we even put it on some other cars through a grant and we paid for the other half of it, is that thing which checks the engine off. So the engine should be running. And, it shouldn't be running when they're not moving. So I'm not sure how that, how you see that in regards to it's continuously moving. Yes, it used to do that back in the day, but with the new cars, they're not doing that anymore. So the engine's shutting off.
That's the cars we get back. These cars, none of our cars we have right now in the fleet does that. And that's why
that can't be true. That can't be true, because I know for a fact that at least we bought that on 2 of the cars.
Right. It's the hybrid. The hybrid has it that the town manager has. Her car does it, and the Leaf. Those are only 2 vehicles that does it right now. All the rest of the cars are that I have to shut off or the idling capabilities.
Well, then I don't understand, because I'm lost. Because I was here, Chief, when we paid for those to go on 2 of the vehicles, and I believe they were the Dodge vehicles. I mean, Greg could probably speak to it a little bit more than I, but I know that for a fact that we had gotten a grant for it. So, but again, I'm not ready to discuss in any depth because I'm not in a position, because I haven't had a chance to read your information to give it a fair opportunity to be able to make an assessment.
Yeah,
Thank
well, I'm not asking you to make a decision tonight. I'm just trying to explain what I gave you. So these are things we did. We broke it. This is broken up by physical years. So this is your actual physical years right here. Then if you go to the next one, so each one you click on each one of those tabs at the bottom. That will
Yeah, I
actually.
mean, I can read. I can read.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll
so
look
now the
at-
next
I'll
one.
look at it. Thank you.
So this is physical years from July to June. Now, if you
Okay,
go
thank
to the other screen, it's the other. You can close out that. You close that out and go to the other one, or downsize it.
While she's doing that.
The
can you
other
answer my
screen, what other
question?
screen are you referring to?
There's 3 documents I sent to you, so it should be on the same email.
Hold on.
While she's doing that, can I ask my question?
Sure, yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
So, you mentioned that when the officers are in the cars are, sometimes the engine is running, but the car is not physically moving. And that's, causing wear and tear on the vehicles?
Yes. You put wear and tear on the engine and also other parts of the car. And like I said, but it's draining. The reason why it's draining a lot of the energy to actually make sure that everything is working inside that vehicle. You have a computer that's on, you have other things on. So that's why we're going through batteries a lot, because of the system these cars are in. Now, once we get to the hybrids, which we're getting, the hybrid's going to be cutting off constantly. And also they have a power cell where it feeds equally to all the things that are on, like the computers, the lights, if they need lights on to write reports, all that stuff is going to be maintained by a different cell, because the new interceptors are coming out with a special battery just for that part of the car. So there's a lot of things that's being upgraded to actually make it cost effective, use less gas, as well as maintain power within the vehicles without draining the system, the engine and stuff like that. A lot of draw from the engine and the battery. And
Okay.
also, and the reason why we go through a lot of alternators too, we go through a lot of alternators.
Okay, and the mileage, what's the reason for the high mileage?
We don't have high mileage compared to the years with the vehicles we have. The mileage is pretty much average. We don't have any mileage that's over ridiculous. I mean, you only have like 2 or 3 cars over 100,000, and those cars are real old. Those like
Can you bring that up on the screen? I want to see
yes,
that.
she has that one.
I'm sorry, what are you asking for?
If
The
you go back to
mileage.
the mileage, it should be one saying mileage.
No, I don't have one that says mileage.
It should have 3
No. Have. Here, let you share your screen. Do you have it on your computer?
I can get it real quick. Yes, I can
Okay.
get it. Half a minute. Let me pull it up first. Okay, mileage 2003. All right, I'm going ahead and share my screen. You see my screen?
Yes?
Yes.
All right, this is a fleet mileage as of today. Well, not today, but last week. The Dodge Charger. So the only one that's high is mine, my vehicle.
I
Everything.
can't, all I see is the title. I don't see any numbers.
Okay.
I see it. No.
No, she's saying it's too small. You got to blow it up.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So where's the mileage? Okay, that's the last column.
That's common mileage, yes, ma'am. And the 2012 Dodge Charger, I didn't even put that on there because the engine has been replaced. We replaced the engine last year. Yeah, it was last year, year before last. We replaced the engine because the engine just is gone.
So the 2013 is yours?
Yes, 2013 is mine.
I thought you had the 18.
No, I have the 13, man.
Who's driving the 2018?
Sergeant Hayes. And Sergeant and Corporal Thompson has its 2015. So
I'm sorry. Can you blow it up some more? I mean, I got my glass and I still can't see it.
okay.
It's huge.
Oh, now I'm cutting off the,
Like, maybe if you're looking at it on your phone, it might be small.
Yeah, but it's big.
trying to figure out how to slide this page over. I don't know if, man.
At the bottom, the little
Oh,
slider at the
okay.
bottom, yeah.
Okay, there you go. Let me open them now. Is that better?
I can see it now. Commissioner Givens, can you see the numbers? If not, maybe you can read the numbers off.
No,
Okay.
I can see it. I had to turn my phone to the side. Thank you.
All right, for Dodge Charger 2007, you have 89,733 miles. For the Ford Taurus 2014, 81,571. For the Ford Explorer 2015 is 95,544. For 2013, which is mine, is 152,584. For the 2018 is 80,414. For the 2012 Dodge Charger, that one, the engine was replaced, so there's no accurate mileage for that one. And for 2014 Ford Taurus, that was totaled in an accident 2 years ago. So we no longer had that in the fleet. But those the mileage for what we have here now.
Okay.
And then if you go ahead and look at that and look at the cost of repairing these vehicles, and you see how it's increasing, every year is increasing since 2020. Every year, the maintenance cost is increasing. So it's going up instead of going down. So that's why you can use that to actually see how things are going and how you can actually see the whole picture. And if we go to the hybrid fleet, that means that you'll have less gas and less maintenance. The maintenance, we call it preventive maintenance, is not, instead of 3 months, is 4 months now. So you want to have less downtime for your vehicles going for maintenance, preventive maintenance, because it stretches more because less of maintenance you have to put on these vehicles that are hybrids. So there's a lot of things that you benefit from going a hybrid fleet. Less emissions going up in the air, as well as less wear and tear on your vehicle because it shuts the car off. When the car sits still, it shuts off. In reference to the engine, the power cells still have enough power to actually keep everything on, but you don't have to waste gas by keeping the engine running constantly. And like I said, if I have any questions during the week by reviewing it or this weekend, just give me a call, or I can sit down and talk to you, have your questions, or if you want to come out and look at the fleet, I'll be happy to have all the cars there at one time. We normally have everybody working on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Everybody's on those days are there, so we can actually have all the vehicles in our fleet there for you to actually inspect it and look at the vehicles at your leisure on those days. Right now, we have 3 cars in the shop right now, 5 in total, because 2 of the cars not in my fleet are there too. We have the town Leaf is inside the code enforcement car is in maintenance. The major battery, when the batteries went down and they had to
The
replace
Prius.
no, I'm talking about the Leaf.
Oh, okay.
In reference to the town manager's car, she has to get a new battery for her car too. And that's the Prius. So that's in the shop also. So we have 5 cars right now in the shop.
I was wondering where that Prius was, because every time I ride by, I don't never see it. So
I
it's not.
I think what we have to start doing, and I get that to Sergeant, Corporal Thompson, he's gonna start making sure all the vehicles are turned on once a week. When you have cars sitting for a long period of time, it's not good. You have to at least start them up because the batteries, we were sitting on that asphalt, the batteries start draining, and in the point where you have dead cells on the battery. So he's instructed to once a week to at least start the vehicles and make sure all the vehicles are started. So we won't kill these batteries.
So there's a comment in the chat from Greg. The 2 Ford Taurus was installed with the anti-idle device. One is no longer here. He says, sorry, his internet was playing games, and it was a MEA grant.
Well, I wish somebody showed me how it worked, because I didn't know that those vehicles had it. I was aware of it. But we do have one in the fleet right now, and that's driven by PFC Marino. So if you can, Greg, if you can show us how to operate that'd be helpful, because I know we had that in those vehicles.
All right, thanks, Chief. Is that the end of your report?
Yes, and I do have if I share my, can y'all see me? Am I?
Yeah,
Oh, this is the trail camera we have. We have 4 of these right now. Like I said before, these use the cards, the old cards. So it means that it won't give me an alert. That means I have to go out in the woods like once a day to pull the card, to insert the card to see if anybody went past or not. So really, that's why I said it's probably best for us to go with the rings. And that's all I have. I'm finished. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Did anyone else have any questions for the chief tonight?
I have one comment, not so much a question. We need to be very careful about making assumptions as to what that hasn't taken place yet in regards to the revenues. I think that we should walk gently on those things, because one thing we have to know for sure, once people travel that same area every day going to DC to go to work, they're going to figure it out. And so while we anticipate and we do have models, I think we should look at actuals, and then take it from there in regards to how we begin to spend money that we don't necessarily have yet in the coffers. So just be mindful. That's all I'm trying to anticipate. I don't like to. I'm very conservative. I don't like to kind of make assumptions, because that's what happened. This is what happened to the town of Seat Pleasant.
Yeah.
And if you don't know the history, no, listen to me, Chief. This is not propaganda. If you don't know the history, it came in and laid off 12 people because they made a lot of assumptions, and it was various. It was numbers. It wasn't just one thing.
Right.
So I'm not doing that. That's not going to happen here.
Right.
So I'm not as far as my vote anyway. So I like to make sure that we get the numbers and see where we're at, and then we can make assessments moving forward in the future. Thank you.
Right. No, but what I did was I was very, very conservative. We would make over $2 million with cameras. 2 million. Right. If we go by those numbers, 2 million. I brought it all the way down to what? I brought it all the way down to 349,444. That's way low of what we want to really make. So I was very conservative with these numbers. If we go ahead and have both those cameras up and running, we go average 80 violations, and that's average. This is going over. Then once I got that number, I smashed it another 30%. I took another 30% off again. And then after that, I took another 20% off. So the numbers that I gave you, which was for 2 cameras for the whole year, 698,880, which is 298,880, is smashed several times. I smashed it several times because of that, sir. Because this is not the first time I ran a program. I ran one over Capitol Heights, and that's why I'm very conservative. I smashed the numbers to a point where it's bottomed out, and I smashed it several times because of that. Because people learn the patterns. You will have cameras that go down sometimes. You have situations where you might have to take a camera offline. So that's why I was very conservative with my numbers, and that's why I smashed it several times. So just for that reason, because I knew what happened over Seat Pleasant, because I was chief over in Capitol Heights when it did happen, and I made sure that my numbers are done that way, where I smash it, because I think of all those things, like, things go down, things happen. So yes, sir, those numbers were smashed what I gave you today.
All right, thank you, Chief.
No problem. Thank you.
Next up, we'll hear from Commissioner Young. Would you like to report anything out tonight?
I think all my concerns I've already addressed, so thank you.
You're welcome. Commissioner Armache is not here tonight, so we won't get a report from Ward 2. I do have a few things to report out. First, this past Saturday, I went to Congressman Glenn Ivey's open house. And it was really nice. It was a lot of people well attended, and I did speak to some of his staff and him as well. And they're working on their earmarks. And so I know I've spoken to Ms. Richardson, and I think she's talked to the grant manager in regards to trying to get us some money in the federal budget. Hopefully, Congressman Ivy can send in a letter of support for those earmarks for our town. Also for the women commissioners and the town manager, if you'd like. On March 30th, there's a Prince George's County Women's History Month breakfast. It starts at 11 a.m. It's being hosted or given by the county executive. And it's going to be at the hotel in University of Maryland. So the prices of the tickets are $60. So I'm just letting you guys know in case anyone wants to attend. And then, I did want to report out one sad note. I did have someone in my ward pass away. His name is Mr. James. I can't think of Mr. James' last name right now, but it was a unexpected death. It was no foul play, but we did lose someone in our ward. And so I just wanted to point that out to the commissioners that we had a loss in the community. And then there was one other thing I wanted to ask about. Yesterday in the budget meeting, Todd had asked about Ms. Richardson's authority to move funds around. And I believe we were going to ask Mr. Best, if he's still on the call, if that was correct, that she has the authority to move money from budget line to budget line, but it has to be done with the commission's approval. Is that correct, Mr. Best? Or did you already talk to Carol about that?
I'll let Carol speak for herself, but the way it works is you have the budget ordinance that can be amended by a resolution, a budget resolution. Those have to be approved by the commission. And the detailed line item budget can only be moved, must be approved by the commission. So both documents, both the budget ordinance as amended by any subsequent budget resolutions and the detailed line item budget have to be approved by the commission. So the answer is no, the town manager does not have authority to move items around in the detailed line item budget.
Okay. Thank you. Carol, did you hear that?
Yes.
Okay, so we're clear on that one. Okay, let's see. I don't think I have anything else to report. Commissioner Yuri, you have anything to report for at large? I'm sorry, wait a minute, hold up. I'm sorry. I skipped over Commissioner Givens. My apologies. Commissioner Givens, Ward 4, do you have something to report out?
No, thank you.
You don't want to report on the police shed, all the work you did? It was really nice.
I send everyone pictures of it, and so so we got that done, and we took back, and we weren't able to put a third floor on there. It wasn't feasible, so we took back the added supplies, and we should still be within budget. We had to pick up a couple of other minor things, and the only thing now is Greg I've asked Greg to just have someone blow it out tomorrow with a leaf blower, and then the chief can start moving his stuff back into, and then I'll get the handrails painted maybe tomorrow or maybe later on when I have a little bit of more time. I'm not sure, and it's just minor. So thank you.
Yeah, if you guys haven't had a chance, if you look at the pictures, he sent them tonight. He did, him and I guess some of the public works staff did a really great job on adding that second floor, adding the stairs. I mean, yeah. You did an awesome job, I must say.
Yeah, looks good.
It looks very good. All right,
Thank you. Thank you.
you're welcome. Commissioner Yuri, you have anything to report out?
Well, not necessarily to report, but last week I sent out a request that we have a financial wellness seminar for Cottage City. So I found somebody who kind of does these financial workshops, and I think that it would be a good thing for Cottage City to kind of participate in. So I sent that last week. I wanted it to be on the agenda, but I guess it didn't make it on the agenda. That's fine. But I just kind of wanted to see what you all thought about it, and if we could move forward with it. It shouldn't be much. I'm just proposing that for the one-time speaker, that like maybe provide $50 or so for the speaker, and then she kind of goes through a few different topics for financial wellness. It's outlined in the poster. If you want me to send it again, I can give you the information. And then she
Yuri?
does.
Commissioner Yuri? Just to
Yes,
let
can you hear me?
Yeah, just to let you know, it is on the agenda and the flyer is on the screen.
Oh, okay. I can't see it. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, so just wanted to let you know that she does the initial seminar, and then she does follow-up workshops after. So some of the workshops, the follow-up workshops are free, but if there's kind of like a very detailed assessment of, you know, your financial information, she might give a charge, but that can be assessed individually after. Her workshop comes with a free workbook where she outlines tips and little advices that she gives to, you know, the attendees. She's offering to do it virtually, so I think it would be a good thing. I know tax season is kind of coming to a close, but you never know. Financial planning is definitely something that we can always hear. So,
Could I add something to what you're talking about?
sure.
If there, I don't know whether this could be added into, if we do that, added into that. But I think it would be a good idea if we could put in the newsletter, if we could get somehow some picture warning kind of thing for people to watch out for phone scammers. I guess it's my age, but I've recently gotten quite a few people calling me talking about Medicare and trying to get me to, you know, give my number and do this. And I don't know whether it happens. I think it probably does happen more to older people, but I understand that a lot of people do get scammed and lose a lot of money that way. So if there's any, warning poster or something that we could put in the newsletters, I think that would be a good thing to do. That it would get out to everybody, whether or not they were able to make it to a thing like this.
I agree.
Sure, I think it's a good idea.
I agree
Yeah.
with,
I
I
don't-
agree with that. And it's not just seniors, Commissioner Young. They get all kind of people, young, middle age. It's not just, it's these scammers are serious and they go after, they target everybody. So I
They've
totally
even town hall.
Yeah, I totally agree with putting
Wow.
something in the newsletter, social media, wherever. 'Cause
I
Yeah,
used to
because
work for-
maybe it's just that older people sometimes fall for it or something, but people need to get the warnings because, you know, these people, they sound all concerned and all that kind of stuff, you know, but it's bad what they
Mhm.
can do to people.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, I used to work for the hospital, and some people would come in for their procedures because they had this, well, they would come in the procedures, but then you would run their insurance, and they had this scam insurance on file where, you know, it would be like a Medicare supplementary insurance or so, and it would not be sufficient, you know, for their basic procedures. So I do think, especially for a senior population, that's really good to know. I don't know if this person deals with that, but we could definitely probably ask to have something from the newsletter.
Yeah, but we could probably get something from somewhere to use because it just seems to be increasing lately.
Okay.
Commissioner Yuri, did you
So-
say that Ms. Cuffey is not gonna charge a fee for the seminar?
I said I think that it would be good to maybe provide like $50 for the one-time seminar, but she does individual counseling after, and she kind of assessed, some of them are free, and then some of them she will charge depending on how detailed she goes in with the financial planning. So that's kind of up to the individual after the seminar. But as, you know, doing it for the town and having hopefully a good number of participants, I think it would be good to just kind of provide a stipend courtesy.
So you're
guess
recommending
I'm just
$50?
Yeah.
And how soon would she do the seminar?
It's a one-time seminar, and then the caveat is that like there are follow-up sessions after where she goes one-on-one with every person who signs up, if they want it, and she goes through their, you know, financial information and can give. She's I think a licensed stockbroker also, and she can give them, you know, personal financial advice.
Commissioner Givens, did you want to say something?
I'm just not, I mean, I hear you, and I think a lot of people could probably take advantage of it and use that. But, you know, I think the commission as the government should be cautious and be very careful of endorsing. If you put it on your what's name and you give them $50 and you put it out to your what's name, then you could be tacitly endorsing that product. And not to say, I mean, I'm not, you know, hopefully nothing will ever go wrong, but, you know, if something goes wrong, I mean, I don't really, you know, so I don't know. I don't know really how I feel about that. I think it's good, but perhaps I'm just not sure of how to go about it, you know, and in order to protect the town. Perhaps Mr. Best could weigh in from a perspective of risk management, perspective on individuals selling their selling their services. I'd like to hear from Mr.
Can
Best.
I add something before we go to Mr. Best? I think what you're saying is good, Demetrius, and I think also before we do anything like this, we would need to see their actual licenses and make sure that they, you know, have the licenses and certifications that they say they do, and then anything else Kevin wants to add.
I agree.
Mr. Best?
Yes, I think Commissioner Givens makes some good points. I think one of the issues is if someone receives some bad financial advice and they wanted to collect some sort of damages from Ms. Cuffey, whether they would name the town as a co-defendant on that case because the town introduced them to this professional. You know, I would also look at the perspective that I think this is part of a business plan where they're obviously, this individual is trying to expand her clientele list, and essentially she's probably going to get some sort of free using. I don't know where the venue is. Is it the town hall that she will conduct this seminar or class with, or is it online? Go
So
ahead.
it would be virtual. It would be held virtually, and I asked the person to come. This wasn't a product that was sold to me. I attended a seminar and thought that it would be something nice for the city to have. No, it wasn't a case of someone trying to sell me something.
Yeah, I would think it would
You might
be
want to
best.
get waivers.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, you don't necessarily need a waiver. What you could do is like, if you put this ad in your town newsletter to let the people know about this, that they could participate in this, just put a disclaimer that you're not endorsing this individual, and that should probably suffice. Again, you know, really the devil's in the details. How are you partnering with her? Are you providing her space? Are you providing her with any assets of the town whatsoever, including, you know, putting an ad or a notice in your newsletter? And so I would just urge you to disclaim it. Disclaim, you know, basically say you don't endorse the professional status and expertise of this person as the town, if you're going to get involved in helping your townspeople facilitate access to this mental health clinician / licensed financial broker.
Mr. Best, the wording, is that something that you can provide, Ms. Richardson?
Of course.
Okay, thank you. And then I can, Ms. Richardson, if the commission is okay with it, I would definitely send the contact information and have any license or, you know, certification sent your way for verification. So other than the disclaimer, are there any other objections to it, or could we move forward with this?
I'm gonna just abstain. I'm sorry. I'm just not, you know, because we start doing that, then I start looking at other businesses and, you know, and I'm not saying anything wrong with this lady, but, you know, like Mr. Best said, you know, someone gets, you know, then it's like, you know, I just don't want to get, I don't want to have been the one that said I supported any particular individual in regards to services they're looking to provide to the town through the commission. So, but you know, other commissioners can, you know, feel free. I do appreciate it. I think, like you said, maybe she wanted to advertise and you know, you want to put something like that and contact her and put a disclaimer. Then yeah, but I'm not sure utilizing our Zoom and paying her, because if we're paying her, that, you know, that becomes an issue for me, tied into somewhat of an endorsement. So I yield back. Thank you.
I think I would go along with Demetrius on that. Limit it to, you know, limit it to an advertisement that we get approved by Kevin. But yeah, I think I don't want it to look like we're endorsing her.
Okay, so what are you suggesting? That you would be okay with the advertising, but not what?
Well, so like an example, right? Like they have a home and garden show. I could use this as an example in Chantilly, Virginia. If you put an ad in newsletter saying, you know, FYI, home and garden show out in Chantilly, Virginia from 4 to 6, April 3rd and 4th. You know, you're not, you know, you're really not, it's just an advertisement, right? I mean, it's up to anyone if they want to attend, you know, but we're not paying them. We're not utilizing, and they're not utilizing our services. You know, I mean, you could provide, like, maybe she's having a seminar in Bethesda at the Marriott, you know, on a particular day. You know what I'm saying? Maybe perhaps, and then if people wanted to attend, and, you know, or she's doing a Zoom meeting. But I just don't want them. The whole thing with us paying and using our what's the names is just troublesome for me. You know,
Yeah.
I have to put it, yeah. So, but thank you.
Okay.
I have a question, in regards to the advertisement. I didn't think we allowed advertisements in the newsletter.
They used to. I mean, and at one time we did, and we used to do. I think it was like $25. Greg could probably say he's been here the longest. But they used to do advertisement, and it was used to, the funds were used to offset some of the printing costs. But then it kind of got away from it, you know. And it wasn't any endorsement or anything like that of any particular website, but it was just like advertisement, you know, like a much like a classified ad. But thank you.
Okay, so, we do have some businesses in town, so if one of the businesses wanted to put an ad in, it's allowed for them to do it?
Well, I think right now, because when we did that, you know, the town didn't have a town manager. We don't really have SOPs. I mean, I think it's something, I mean, you know, we weren't probably following whatever guidelines. I think it's something we probably should write out, you know what I'm saying? And then make sure that we're protecting the town, and then have it in writing so that we can always refer back to it in the future, so that we have a good solid risk and management protection from that. But yeah, I mean, you know, and then the commission decides, you know, how much they want to charge people, and, you know, and then, you know, maybe perhaps, like you said, send it out to the business in Colmar Manor and Cottage City, you know, or not. And, you know, maybe they don't want to get involved in, someone, you know, doing that as well. You know, maybe just don't think that it's worth the risk. It's really up to the commission.
Okay, so in this particular case, are you saying that she could run an ad and we would not charge her?
That's a benefit.
Well, something, yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know. I probably need to hear from Mr. Best, but like they came before, not her, but actually it was the county. It came and they did wills and I forgot what it's called, for people, like information.
Wills and trusts, I think.
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago. Maybe you were here. I think you might have brought that. You or Butler brought that, I believe. And it was a benefit to the town, right? So, I mean, a benefit to the residents. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you know, I'd have to think a little bit more about it, you know, how I feel about it. Just kind of hit me at one time. So, thank you.
Okay, well, I agree with Commissioner Young and Commissioner Givens.
Okay, so you think that maybe just limit it to an advertisement? Is that what you're saying?
I didn't hear you.
Or are you saying this should be limited to an advertisement, or
I agree
an
with
advertisement
that we should not endorse it. We should not pay for it. We should not pay her, and we should not endorse it, and we should not use our Zoom. But if she wants to put an ad in the newsletter with the disclaimer that the town is not endorsing her, then I don't have a problem with that. Basically, I agree with everything they said.
okay. All right, then. Well, I have a follow-up discussion. I just thought it would be something nice to have for the residents and for people in their financial planning. But thank you.
Is that it for you, Commissioner Yuri?
Yeah, I have a question. I remember that we discussed a yoga class that we were going to maybe connect with Colmar Manor on. Do we have any kind of, have you received any updates on that? Like if we were still planning to do that, or if Colmar Manor was still having the classes, or?
Yeah, I spoke to the gentleman, and it was someone he knew that was doing the classes in Colmar Manor. And so when I discussed it with him about, you know, doing it here, he said, well, he has to see whether she's willing to do it, because I think she was giving her time. So the question was, is she going to give her time here too? And he just never got back to me, because he was very hesitant to even ask her since she was giving her time in Colmar Manor and then, to ask here. So and they never heard back from him.
Are you talking about the teacher or?
It was a
councilperson
gentleman
who-
with a nonprofit. It was a nonprofit that was facilitating that, and he knew a yoga teacher. And for the classes at Colmar Manor, she was donating her time. So when he spoke to me, that was the first thing he said to me, if she's willing to do it. So
do you know if
Two things
they ever
about-
had the class? I'm sorry. Do you know if they? So are you saying that they ever had a class at Colmar Manor, or?
I don't
Did
know
they
if they still
begin
have
that?
the classes at Colmar Manor, but it was a question
Oh.
of whether the instructor was willing to do it, and he was the go-between.
Okay. All right.
If we do something like that, we've done it before. We would need to make sure that we got, that people would sign some waiver on that. And also, the last time we did it, unfortunately, we got a teacher coming over from Joe's Movement Emporium, but then she didn't show up a couple times, and so the attendance went from about 30 people down to about 5 people. So it really messed up. Before that, we had a resident who was doing it before she moved away, and that was nice. But you'd need to make sure you crossed all your T's and so forth.
Okay, thank you. And can I ask you, Ms. Richardson, is there any way that you can get an update with Colmar Manor, and if they don't have it, I guess continuing, or we can't get any clear information? I know we had discussed before getting a yoga teacher, but I would like to kind of start maybe looking for a teacher or so to kind of fill that in as the summer months come along. We discussed maybe having it in the garden or having it at town hall or doing some chair yoga for the seniors. So I would like to begin to kind of look for a teacher, and then I can update the commission afterward.
So you want me to find out if they're still doing yoga at Colmar Manor? I just want to clarify.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And if they aren't, or if you can't get any update, because it sounds like, the information was a bit inconsistent. If you can't get any update from the individual running the nonprofit or from Colmar Manor, then we can begin looking for a teacher for Cottage City. And I can, assist in that recruitment or looking for a teacher. I know this was something that we had done, and I think even approved at one point. So I just wanted to follow up on that and try to get that service for residents as it's coming closer to the summer months.
Well,
I guess you can just basically fill me in
Okay.
on the update, and then I'll move on from there.
So when you say we can look for a yoga teacher in the event we can't connect the one in Colmar Manor.
Yeah, I'll begin to look, and I can, do some of the primary legwork for that. If you have any spare time, you can maybe look around also, but I can spearhead that. It's not a problem.
All right, I'll contact Colmar Manor and let you know.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Commissioner
it for me.
Givens. I see your hands raised, but I got a comment in the chat, so I'm going to read the comment and then you can have the floor. So from Mr. Pinckney, it says the lawyer at the time, so I'm assuming it wasn't Mr. Best, encouraged the commission not to do ads because it gave the appearance that the town was endorsing the business, so they stopped. He also said it was an issue about what businesses were in good standing with the town. So those are the two comments. Mr. Givens, you have the floor.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that I have some recollection of that too. Thank you, Greg, for bringing that forth. And I also support the yoga thing. It was well attended, and I hope that the commission, if they have to pay for a teacher, then we just pay a teacher. That way we make sure they show up on time and they show up. So, but I appreciate Commissioner Yuri spearheading it and finding a qualified yoga instructor, and then perhaps even having a Zumba class too. That could be something, making it more some more adult activities that are and utilize some of our funding for these things. So thank you. I yield back.
Could I just add something to that? When we had it before, I had gone to the then CDC, and we actually got money from the CDC to pay the yoga teachers, but she still missed a couple, and that sort of shot the whole class. So we would need to get some kind of commitment to make sure that didn't happen again. And also, as I said before, make sure we do the waivers. It would be wonderful if we could arrange something like that, in a way that it did work, because it was nice when we had it in years past, both forms of it.
Thank you.
Okay, so, are there any other comments or questions for tonight?
I do.
Is that someone from the public?
No.
Who is that?
Farrell,
I'm sorry, I didn't recognize your voice. Go ahead.
so you mentioned going to the open house for Congressman Glenn Ivey, and talking to the staff about congressional earmarks. And I have been in contact with his staff as well as Van Hollen's, and we will be submitting a request to get money for our stormwater management. But different appropriations bills, there are 12 different categories, have different requirements. The one in which we would get money out of, which is interior and environment, requires a 20% match. So I wanted to and I just learned that today from the staff. So I wanted to make sure that the commission was aware of that. Because we will be asking for, the project is estimated at about $1 million, even though the report says 780, or costs that the engineers didn't put into the report. So it's a 20% match on whatever we ask for. That's required.
Okay, well, I know the earmarks is not just for stormwater management. They also do sidewalks and other infrastructure projects. So I know we just recently had our sidewalks redone with the grant money. I think that was CBDG or
CDBG.
CBDG. But there's other projects out there. But she did say that, the money is available, and it, we should apply. She did encourage us to apply.
Oh, I think we should, it's just that particular pot that our project falls into has a 20% match. Like, I know I've got an earmark in the past that was in a different category. It didn't have a match. This particular one just happens to.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. I mean, if we apply for $1 million, that would be what, 200,000 that we would have to match?
Yeah.
But I mean, I'd rather pay 200,000 than to pay the 700,000 or 1 million that they're proposing. I wouldn't have a problem with paying 200,000. I don't know how other commissioners feel, but I think 200,000 to get $1 million, I think that's a good trade-off for all the work that we need to do. Commissioner Givens, is your hand still up, or is that from your?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I got to lower it. Sorry.
Okay. All right, thanks. Any other comments or questions before we adjourn? It's 10:19. I guess I'll ask, are there any public comments? I know I asked earlier. We didn't get any public comments. I don't see anyone. So who else has their hand raised? Who is that? All right, I don't hear anyone, so I'm gonna go with that. There's no more discussion for tonight. Is there a motion to adjourn at 10:20 PM?
So moved
So
as read.
moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Givens, for making the motion. Is there a second? Did I hear Commissioner Young?
Yes, second.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Young, for making the second call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Givens, aye.
Young, I.
Yuri, I.
Wheatley, aye. Commissioner Armitage is absent. Motion passes. We are adjourned, everyone. Thank you and have a good night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.